Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Stealthy Elf Productions. We're going to play a little bit of Pathfinder 2nd Edition for you today. This is part of our Heroes of Histaeria series. This is our new campaign. This is the last of our 3-0 sessions. The other two have already been done. This is our new campaign, New World Rebellion. And today we have Ollie and Max, who are going to be our last two player characters. Let's do some quick introductions. Ollie, you want to go first? Who are you?
I
Where
would
can people
love
find you?
to. All right. My name is Rolando Alejandro Gonzalez Rodriguez. You can call me Ollie. Or in this campaign, Caldor. Caldor D. Stratus, of course. Uh, and you can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet as Lycus D. Stratus. Or at Cryptid Delta. Either of those should work. And for some reason, Lycus D. Stratus leads to me on Google every time. It's fantastic. I've
That's
somehow
awesome.
SEO'd myself.
Nice. Nice.
Uh, and yeah. So, you want me to talk a little bit about Caldor?
Let's intro Max, and then we'll finish
Yeah,
off
then
intros, and
flip
then
back.
we'll flip over to the game stuff.
And then
Okay.
I am Max. I'm going to be playing Domingo de Posto, a Ayuvarian, aka half elf, who is a sorcerer. So, with a few daddy issues, as one does. So, very excited to play, and you'll see me here, and then in our Heroes of Hysteria game. So I'll pass that back now.
All right.
Ollie wants to go over his character.
Yes. So, like I said, I'm playing Caldor D. Stratus. And Caldor is a Dromar Grimspawn. Born from a Dromar and a human woman, a noble woman. Unfortunately, he came out a little bit extra, how would you say, grim spawny than most would like. And when Noble Mama saw the horns, she said, "Get that shit out of here."
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, that's what she
he's
said.
he is a champion. His background is the chosen one. He's a young man, 19 years old, and has a lot that he wants to live up to, a lot that he feels obligated to do. And he does not understand, but has fully committed to wanting to save the world, even in this perpetual darkness. Uh, yeah, I'm excited to get into his whole shtick.
Should we
He
see his
also, yeah, let's show
the art?
the art because
All
he
right.
rocks a really dumb weapon that I've always wanted to put on a character, which is a hammer and axe combo linked by a spike chain.
Yeah, there he
I
is.
love it.
He's real
uh,
badass looking. That weapon set is awesome, and the armor too, and the horns.
yeah, the armor, it's this gold looking, bright champion thing, but when you look closer, it is clearly just brandish bronze, something painted and made to look classy when it's just, you know, what he could afford. And yeah, I don't know. I just like the idea of axing into someone's chest and going, "Oh, not all the way through. I'll fix it." Bang bang.
It's all look.
uh,
Caldor's also pretty young, so it also makes sense, right? Like he's kind of clever. You know, maybe he doesn't have the strength yet to axe all the way through, so he's got a follow
gotta
up
go
idea.
exactly. And as far as the character design, he has a lot of scars. A lot of it is more self-inflicted. Early on, he tried to like cut off his horns and slipped and cut his face and other things. And he has a lot of coming to terms with himself that became permanently scarred on his body. And yeah, as far as influences for the character, uh, My Hero Academia, Deku, just like that childish, I want to save the world. Zuko with his sense of like, I need to find honor and duty.
Yeah.
And then honestly, the last bit of him just keeps kind of floating in and out between different characters, and I'm still trying to figure out who he really is. But we'll figure that out today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, excited to figure that out. Okay, Max,
All right.
you ready, buddy?
So we got good old Domingo here.
Mhm.
He's also younger, but a bit older than our fun old Caldor here. He originally was from one of our older campaigns that I believe before we were streaming,
Yeah.
and so I was very excited to be able to bring him back. So he's in a different version of the world. Very fun character. Um, a couple of changes since he came over from Pathfinder or came over to Pathfinder, but um, kind of some of the things with it. He's kind of so he's a noble, but he's a bastard, right?
Mhm.
So he doesn't even know his mother's name. I mean, he's got, you know, blindly loyal to his dad, even though his dad kind of bit of a dick, as we'll
He's
probably
done
find
some
out
things.
more.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, he's done some things, but he's very much he still has that noble bit, and he's always trying to impress his dad. But he's also competing, and there's kind of some, behind the scenes Game of Thrones action here with some of his half brother and stepmother. So,
Mhm.
which you'll kind of see as we kind of go through the campaign. So, very excited to bring him back. I don't know if we want to kind of pull up the
Yeah. Do you want to
art
see the
for
art?
him.
All right, let's see the
Yeah.
man. Bam.
So Ollie was great enough
Yeah.
to provide some art here. He added the skull thing.
Not
So
just That's just your walking stick, not
it's
just.
just my walking stick,
I like that the skull clearly has tusks like an orc.
Yeah.
That was on purpose.
Oh boy. Oh
Domingo
boy.
was not the biggest fan of orcs or Droman. So because Domingo's father and him, they have fought many wars against them. So he's got a little bit of anti-orc going on. So which is shown in the art. So, but he, as you can see, he's very prim and proper, very knows how to operate in social circles, but he's a fancy fella. But um Domingo's father, Caleb de Posto, is a full human. Um, and he is again half elf. So he kind of does stick out a little bit at these all human parties. So even though there's mixing. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's very much, he's trying to reestablish himself as the primary heir right now. So we'll kind of see what adventures and choices that kind of leads him down. So he's very much a very fun character that I'm excited to bring back. There was a lot of shenanigans
Yeah.
in the first campaign, and
A lot of memorable Domingo moments.
oh, so many memorable Domingo moments. Just to give a little bit of background, he was a wild magic sorcerer,
Mhm.
and I rolled so poorly all the time with him. So I rolled on that magic table all the time,
Oh
which was
man.
a lot of fun.
Turning into a plant in the middle of a boss fight.
Oh
It's
yeah, while I'm
legendary.
holding a spell scroll. Oh,
Classic.
oh, classic. Turning into a sheep mid combat. I was a blue sheep at that time, I
You're
think.
a blue sheep.
I
There
had a
they
feather
are.
beard for a while. I blew myself up with a fireball.
Yep. That worked out for you guys though, because you were surrounded by
It really
you were
did.
surrounded by orcs at the time.
Yeah. So
Ooh, I think
yes.
remember when we talked about that event where Domingo like saved the group against an ambush and
Yes.
injured a
Yes.
certain somebody?
Yeah.
That's the move. The self fireball.
Yes.
Okay, but here are the
Yeah.
boys. Here they are. Caldor and Domingo. Caldor D Stratus, right? And Domingo de Posto. Okay.
Oh
Guys,
yeah.
you feeling good? Feeling ready?
I'm
I'm so
feeling
ready.
ready.
Okay. All right. Then let me pull up some notes and let's get us some music.
Yeah. And also very happy that these guys were very flexible. I know we were all planning to be on and streaming yesterday, and thank you for everybody for your patience. I was quite sick, So I've been kind of recovering from it. I'm still a little sick, but feel significantly better. So again, appreciate the flexibility.
Amen. Always. You come first. All right. Okay, then. Okay, let's get. Here we go. Music coming in okay for you guys? Soundtale coming through?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So, much like our other Zero sessions, the tale is going to begin in the city of Redhestle. Tonight is a night of celebration. For tonight is the last night of the year, and good Hysterians are observing the traditional celebrations of Old Year's dusk into New Year's dawn. This is a continental event that lasts from final sunset of the year into the first sunrise of the new year. It's a 12-hour flurry of activity with people marking the occasion in a variety of ways. And this celebration is more momentous than most because tonight marks the 1000th year of the Age of Oros, an age recognized as the longest era of peace that the continent has known. The streets are awash with bright lights of every color that work in concert to keep the darkness at bay. And all around is sweet music, echoing laughter, and the whistling and popping of fireworks overhead. The peak of the celebration for most will be at midnight, at the zenith of Lunazra's dance across the night sky. At that point in her dance, if she shines full, then the Book of Oros teaches us that the world is to be blessed. It is a sign of a bountiful and peaceful year. And that is why that even from the streets, full of revelry, one can still hear the echoing prayers from the halls of Tazrin's temple. The temple's patrons pleading to the gods of Oros that the world would bask in an embrace of pure white light. Now, our story moves from the streets of Redhestle towards the Liberty Citadel. The Liberty Citadel is a bastion of stone and glass. It is a monument of freedom and liberation from the Empire of Dregroth. And in its hallowed, gilded halls, up on the 3rd floor, is a ballroom. And in this ballroom is a very fancy, very schwanky party for Redhestle's and really Omeron's most prominent figures. Among them are the nobility of Redhestle, as well as the senatorial figures, all of those who are the representatives, the public's representatives to the Senate. And in this celebration, at this party, we also see the sovereign-elect, the top figure in Redhestle, a human man of slender build with a very regal and at the same time very serious bearing. He has a very lean face, clean shaven. His gray hair is slicked back to reveal his very square jaw, accented by a few deep wrinkles on his face. And he wears a heavy cape, and with this thick fur collar, this black fur collar, and the cape is clasped up front with these 2 golden chains. You see, beneath the cape, is a very fancy tunic, gilded embroidery with a very high, stiff collar, as Caleb de Posto is walking through the party. This rich burgundy outfit. And at his side is a young man. An Ivaran son. Max, you feeling up for it, bud?
I'm feeling it.
All right.
Feeling up for it.
Can you describe Domingo for us as the two of you are walking through the party?
So you'll see Domingo just in finery, you see him navigating through. He's not incredibly tall. He's probably 5'10", 5'11", but you'll notice that he is very prim and proper. There's not a hair out of place, right? He's very you'll see he's got his flowing cape and all these other, and I'm not going to mention any weapon or anything at this point because I don't think he's going to have anything.
Sure.
But he's got this dark raven hair flowing back in a ponytail, and high boots, the whole 9 yards. He is holds himself with poise as if he's done this 1,000 times, because he's done it 1,000 times. He's gone to all these parties. He's very adept at hobnobbling as a specific skill in the game.
Sure.
That I may have grabbed.
Sure.
So he's very good at discussing with, and he understands how the courts work.
Sure.
So he's dancing around, you'll see he'll take a maiden on his arm or whatnot and, do a traditional court dance, but nothing to make his father be disappointed in him. So you'll notice he's consistently looking back to his father, almost seeking approval.
Yeah.
So
you look back over to Caleb, and Caleb has honestly never looked at you twice. For all the times that you look back to check in to see what Caleb is up to, he's either patiently listening to somebody as they are speaking to him, or he is surrounded by his entourage of guards talking to your stepmother, Maria. Maria has got a very tan skin, but long flowing blonde hair. She's dressed in a very swanky red dress with gold embroidery as well. She's got a blue cape on, and with another kind of feathery scarf around. As she'll come in and whisper to Caleb. Now Caleb doesn't ever look at you, but Maria looks at you occasionally, and you can always see that there's a faint disdain expression, a faint clearly why do you a questioning expression. But yeah, you move through the party and you're interacting, you're schmoozing, all right, as Domingo is wont to do. You encounter a few different people who come up to you and they try to, ask you, are you looking forward to the new year? They are always, you get this a lot. People hoping to kind of get an avenue for more access with your father, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I'm just definitely deflecting and doing just casual talk and kind of it's oh, the weather is quite nice. I'll see what he says about that. We'll see.
Yeah.
So very much trying not to commit his father to anything because he knows that that's a big faux pas. Is Miguel around?
Miguel is around, and I'm not going to ask you to roll a check to find him because Miguel is easily found. Miguel is in a cluster of people. He's got a lot of hangers-ons, a lot of people that kind of follow him around, and he's always laughing the loudest in the center of his group as people are kind of holding drinks out to him, and right now there's a dwarven man who's trying to talk to him, trying to get his attention, and you can see Miguel is obviously just kind of batting the man away as he is more interested in talking to his peers, right? Occasionally shoots the man a look, says some sort of offhanded comment. His cronies laugh. For that guy, roll a society check, though. Your first roll, Domingo's first roll of the game is going to be society.
Okay.
That's right.
Seems right, right?
Does feel right.
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 And that is going to be a 13. I didn't roll great.
Okay.
I have a good bonus to it.
You have a good bonus to it. And a 13 isn't hard. And, you've also been in steeped in these political games, Domingo. Right? So you can recognize that this individual, you don't know his name, but you do recognize the crest on his lapel. Right?
Mhm.
It is he has a pin crested to him, and it is a hammer with a fist around it, emblazoned over a mountain. This is the crest of the Crackhammer family. So you know
Yes.
that he is within the circle of Brevin Crackhammer, the senator of the dwarves. Right? In this sort of ancestral republic where each ancestry has their own representative that it comes to Redhestle to advocate for their people. This, while you know Brevin Crackhammer, you know this isn't Brevin Crackhammer. You know this is one of Brevin Crackhammer's people.
Mm-hmm. Thing. Yeah. I think noticing that, is he like still trying to get Miguel's attention?
Yeah, he
or-
is. He's trying to get Miguel's attention. You can see he's like, and he's starting to look exasperated, and he's starting to get a look of frustration. Like you can sense it bubbling in him.
I think I'll approach from like the other side, just while Miguel's kind of distracted, and just kind of tap him on the shoulder. Like, hello. From the Crackhammer estate, I presume.
He looks over. He turns from Miguel. Well, the Elder de Posto.
Yes, and the finer one, if I say so myself.
Shoots a dirty look back to Miguel, who sees you kind of enter the scene, and goes, "Yeah, I'm tempted to agree with that sentiment." As Miguel joins the conversation and goes, "Domingo, can we help you?"
I was coming along to say hi to my little brother and, discuss whatever it may be with our Crackhammer friend.
Ever your brotherly duties. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Rest assured, I'm handling the Crackhammer situation.
Are you?
Are you indeed now? He kind of looks between the two of you and goes, I was simply wrapping up other matters.
Of course.
There's, don't worry, Domingo. I will handle this.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's, if you have any needs of anything, may I catch your name? Sir Representative, the Crackhammers.
Name's Tarpan.
Tarpan.
Raylan Tarpan.
Raylan. Great to make your acquaintance.
He extends a hand to you.
I thought you were going to say he extends like a business card.
No. As he shakes,
we're extending business cards.
Yeah, and he shakes your hand and he says, "And if it's all the same, I think I'd rather deal with you, if I have a choice."
Ooh, well.
That is certain.
What can I do to help?
Domingo. That is certainly unnecessary, Mr. Tarpan. Like I said, I was merely wrapping up other business. I did not mean to be insulting. Well, all the same, there's a certain touch, it seems, your brother has that perhaps you could learn from. Good evening, gentlemen. I don't imagine your daddy would appreciate that very much. As Miguel storms off back to his group, and they kind of make their way out to the party.
Well, his mother always seems to find a way to talk him out of problems. So, it is what it is.
Well,
Anyways, what can I help you?
Well, I'm not sure if you've heard, but over Our people have recently suffered a great disaster. Our city burned down in a conflagration of witchfire, and we're looking for we're seeking aid. I've been trying to get a meeting with the sovereign elect, but he's a hard man to get access to, as you understand.
Of course. And I am so sorry for the tragedy. I assume Domingo would have heard about it through the grapevine. Like, if
Up to
that,
you.
'cause it's big news.
Yeah, it was pretty big news. I'd say, yeah, Domingo might
Yeah.
have heard about it. You plugged in. You're trained in society, at least, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then yeah, you'd have heard about it.
I apologize for not getting an answer sooner. I will certainly attempt to broach this subject with my father. Are the Crackhammers in good health?
Well, I'd rather not speak on behalf of my employers as to how they're doing, but if we could arrange a meeting, I'm sure Senator Brevin would be happy to
Sure.
enlighten you in that himself.
Yes, let me attempt to discuss with my father as I have time. He is very busy, so I will try to arrange that with all due haste, understanding the humanitarian situation.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the apology, but it's not like you were responsible. Ha ha ha. They kind of, I don't think he actually laughs, but he's going to say it's not like you were responsible. And on that little wink at the camera.
That couldn't have been another.
Couldn't have
character.
been another campaign where
No.
you were responsible for something like that. No way. Okay, but we're gonna cut away from Domingo and the party for a bit. And we're gonna return to outside the Liberty Citadel. Whoa. Hang on. This is the one I'm looking for. Alright, so. Outside of the Liberty Citadel, in the shadowy streets of the steppes. I say shadowy streets, and those are hard to find right now in this celebration, because most of Redhestle is awash in light of celebration. But for those looking to be concealed, certainly possible. And amongst those looking to be concealed are a couple of cloaked individuals who are moving from alleyways, up stone staircases, kind of scrambling across rooftops. One of them is rather large, and the other, well, we'll get to the description of the other here in just a moment, as the two figures are hopping across a slight gap between buildings and scrambling up a scaffolding. And as they kind of pull themselves over the balconies, over the railings, onto the rooftops of the Liberty Citadel, the very same building in which Domingo is having a party, they step into the light properly for the first time, and their features are illuminated. We see a dark-skinned orc with pale yellow eyes, of considerable stature. Thick, coarse dreadlocks bound in a leather strap. They kind of fall down the shoulders and the back. He's got bone, stone, and metal beads clinking against his armor as he moves. And he's dressed in a motley of armor. You see a few maybe like plate pauldrons and underneath hide bracers and vests, thick hair on the forearms, and these large white sort of tribal tattoos adorning the face and forearms and chest from what you can see. And then on the left side of his face, you see he's got this kind of like gnarly burn that kind of goes down from the forehead, down the cheek, down the neck. As he's got a heavy cloak pulled over, he kind of pulls it back, turns to the other figure and says, "Come on, boy. Destiny's calling." And Caldor, you step into the light. What do we see?
In a town like this, the thing that keeps you the most hidden is looking impoverished, looking dirty. The cloaks that we're wearing, they're patched and beaten. His usual armor is not with him. In place is something more leathery and almost frayed, something to avoid any detection. And he looks up to his father and says, "I'm only here to make sure you don't cause any more problems. There's a right way to do things, Dad."
Boy, listen, kind of puts a hand on your shoulder, right, and looks at you with kind of a weary expression. I've tried the right way. Doesn't work. If you want respect, you gotta take it. And that's what we're gonna do.
I'm with you. As far as I can be. Where are we right now? Are we like
You're
above?
like on the outer railings of the Liberty Citadel rooftop. Things kind of go up in a slope, and then it kind of extends drastically vertically upwards into a sort of glass and metal dome that is overlooking the main ballroom.
So we can like see into the ballroom currently?
Yeah, you can walk up the slope and start looking into the ballroom. Aboku D Stratus, Aboku D Stratus is making his way up.
I think I'm following him, but I'm looking at the people. I'm looking at the ballroom. And I think Caldor would know more or less who Domingo is, especially with his past with his father and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I think as he's, getting in place, he's seeing Domingo go around and, hobnob and glad hand with other politicians. And in brief moments, while his father's looking away, I think he kind of mimics like some of the posture, some of the mannerisms as he follows his dad.
Yeah, you see Domingo talking to a gray-haired dwarf in kind of a partying kind of noble's clothes, right? And Domingo. I'm assuming you're assuming a very upstanding posture as you were communicating with Raylan.
Oh yeah, very much so. Very, like he's trained on posture. Like he had to hold a silver spoon between his shoulder blades, when he was a kid. So he's very much making sure that he's looking the part.
As he's, following his father, imitating kind of Domingo's posture and his actions a little, quietly to himself, he thinks out loud a little, "That's too noticeable." And he just kind of hunches down a little bit back to his less imposing, less demonstrative position.
Mm.
And
yeah. You, as you start to kind of relax into it, Aboku goes, "All right, wait here." And you see he starts making his way towards one of the larger panels, right? A panel that would be facing, that kind of extends upwards into the central dome in a giant triangle. He stops in front of that panel, and he reaches around to a leather sack that's kind of been like strapped over one shoulder, and he begins to pull out flasks. And he walks towards the corners and he starts kind of resting them in the corners, and he starts placing them. And he says, and he's just kind of muttering to himself, "They're gonna see. When they look up tonight, they're gonna know. Our time is now."
Okay, let's Just hurry. There'll be a time where this will be the. There's not too many people in the way of danger right now. We don't want to take too long.
Sometimes people don't pay attention until they're in danger.
Fine, I understand you've been through a lot, but how can you expect our people to come here and be part of this if they're hated by everyone?
Well, here's the thing, boy. First, we gotta get them to notice us before we can even worry about them deciding whether or not they hate us. We're just an afterthought to them. They throw us out and forget about us.
I think with that, Caldor does kind of quiet down a little bit. The thought of being thrown away, he doesn't want to fight back on that.
Aboku kind of crosses from where he is. He's got a couple more of these glass flasks in his hand, and he walks over to you and he puts that hand on your shoulder again. This is one of those things that he does. He just kind of like rests that heavy hand on your shoulder, almost like he wants to hold you there, because he doesn't. He's one of those fathers who doesn't feel like he has a lot of wisdom to offer, but when he does, he wants to make sure you hear it. So he holds on to you so that you don't run away. He grabs you and he says, I don't care what they call me. I don't care if I'm branded as a terrorist. But you are gonna be the one that brings us into the light. And he hands you the last two. Set those in the center.
Okay. I think he grabs the flasks, heads to the center, and sets them up. And he waits there a little bit too long as he looks down, kind of hoping that the ballroom maybe gets a little bit less compact, less full of people for just a moment.
The opposite is what's happening, unfortunately, Caldor. As you look down, people are actually kind of gathering into the room from the hallways as they are coming in. Domingo, down below for you in the room. Folks are flooding in through the main entryways as they are gathering now because midnight is upon us. Midnight. In just a matter of moments, Lunazra will be at her zenith, and we will know what this next era is going to bring for us. Unfortunately, though, things don't quite go as planned. Because as the moment finally arrives, when Lunazra is set to reveal her face to the world, and midnight strikes, there is the tolling of the bell to mark the occasion. You hear it in the distance. You see a barrage of fireworks taking off into the sky, and as they illuminate the world in a multicolored kaleidoscope of rainbow lights, the dazzling lights begin to fade, and as they do, a solid crimson glow remains present. Whoop. Excuse me. Sorry, I saw a lot of things. A solid crimson glow remains present, and the voices in the room around you, Domingo, begin to die down. Caldor, outside, the people in the street, quiet. Everyone grows silent as all eyes stare above. Caldor, you see the reflection of the moon in that glass sphere, and you turn around to see this aberration, this alien hanging in the sky. The ground rumbles, and in the distance, waves begin to crash against the shore. Larger and larger they grow until the sea is washing into the streets, and people are terrified. Where once there was joy is now replaced by just mass hysteria. You all look up as flashes of lights in the sky garner your attention, and you see ejected from the moon these streaks of light, multiple just they begin to plummet to the world unbelievably fast, and as they do so they catch flame, and as they pass clouds they kind of light them up orange and red. And the first few, Caldor, you can see crashing out in the harbor, out in the bay, out in the water, just columns of water being tossed into the air, and then suddenly you see it cut through a galleon, a ship, just utterly destroyed in an instant, right? It's one of those things where you see it happen, and then a few seconds later, boom, you start to hear the crashing as the sound finally catches up, and then you start to see as more and more of them begin to crash onto the streets. You see buildings, and they begin to kind of get, and for Domingo, outside you see these lights, and you're watching as like one in particular kind of trails through the air, and suddenly gets brighter and brighter and brighter. The people in the room around you, Domingo, are dumbfounded, unsure what to do. Caldor, you feel a gruff hand grab you at your shoulder and pull you back. And Domingo, suddenly it starts to register. We should fucking move as one of these meteors, boom, crashes through the roof above you. There's just a shower of glass all throughout the chamber as it kind of crashes into the dome, and people are just fleeing, jamming up doorways. It crashes into the center of the room. Caldor, you were pulled back to safety by Aboku. Domingo, you were just at the edge, but you still feel the shockwave, and there's still, you're able to kind of duck under a few statues and figures to avoid a lot of the glass that's raining down around you. You see from the center of the crater, as heat just radiates outwards, you hear a loud, blood-curdling sound that is deeply unfamiliar and foreign to you all. This echoing bram that just kind of reverberates around the walls of the chamber. And you see the center, the heart of this thing that fell. You see limbs begin to untangle. Mechanical limbs begin to untangle as a cluster of mechanical spiders begin to come apart from each other. And at the core of them, you see these round, metallic, golden brass spheres eject these wings that begin to bzzz, and as they hover up, there's a crackling of electricity and the smell of ozone added to the mix. As the Brahm and the Arbiters begin to tear through the chamber, and people, and it just fills with screams as they summon these long metallic trident-like appendages from beneath their abdomens, and they kind of start stabbing into people all around you. The Arbiters are spiraling through the air and cutting folks down with these short little metallic swords that are also extended out from within it. And you can see people are getting, they like will go into a cluster of people and erupt in a sphere of electricity, and everybody just gets like momentarily stunned, and some more Arbiters come in and start slicing them up. It is utter chaos around you, Domingo. Okay, what do you do, bud? What do you do now?
I think first
screw your
off,
fun.
Right. Well, I guess we don't need to worry about that meeting anymore.
Yeah, Tarpan is like next to you, going, "What the hell's going on?"
I'm not sure. I want to look around and see if I can see where Caleb is.
Sure. Okay, you look around, you see where Caleb is. Caleb is at the, like, surrounded by a cluster of guards. Among them, you see the captain of the guard, Arno Greydane. You know to be a very proficient military man and master at arms, kind of fending off one of these Brahm, like the giant mechanical spiders.
Right.
And yeah, you see guards kind of clustering around him and Maria, and they are moving them away. But Caleb, you can see, is desperately looking around the room for something. His head is up as the guards are pulling him away. But he looks maybe a few cuts here and there, but he's conscious and moving.
Okay. Can I, like, from this distance, can I gauge where he's generally looking?
Yeah, I'd say go ahead, roll a perception check.
That's a 15.
15?
Yep.
I'd say with a 15, unfortunately, you're not going to see what he's looking for. But as you stick your head up and you start looking, as you can imagine, you know Caleb, you know your father. He values his family very much. So you would imagine he's looking for Miguel.
Not looking for me, but whatever.
Not looking for you. Yeah, he's almost like, you can see there's like a brief moment where he kind of like rests on his eyes on you, and I think there's like a little bit of a communication that happens, and you can almost sense that he's telling you, find him.
Yep.
Like he's giving you like a wordless command in the expression of worry on his face.
So with that, can I use that perception check just to see if I can see Miguel? I mean, I guess I would know he can't have gone far.
He can't have gone far, but you don't see him in the crowd, kind of like moving around in the sea of people. And so just as you think maybe you're getting a beat on him, Tarpan like pulls down at your sleeve and he goes, "What are you doing, boy? We got to get out of here."
I must find my brother.
Screw that little piece of shit. Let's go.
I must. It is my father's wishes. I already can tell you that. So. That is what I must do. If you wish to run, feel free. Otherwise, I will stand here and fight these mechanical demons.
Hell yeah. Okay. As you're looking for Miguel, up top in the roof, the glass, all of Aboku's work and Caldor's work setting those things to do something to the dome. Who cares anymore? The dome is gone. There's just like metal frames and glass shards kind of like jutting out of the base of where it was. And Caldor, you look down and that golden party that you were watching before is now stained with smoke, fire, blood, and chaos. And you and your father are up top looking down at it. What do you do, Caldor?
I think my father is like pulling me still.
Yeah.
He understands things are dangerous. We need to do something. And I think I push him away. We have to help them. And I run towards the scene. I grab a couple of the bottles that are still around and reach into my pocket and put out a card. And then I just jump. As I jump, I basically like flick the card and it explodes into a bit of music behind me, almost like a guitar riff as part of space rips, and I land near the creatures, and behind me another guitar rip as another rip in space, and I yell out, "It's a portal. It'll take you to the top. Run!" As I stand in front of a creature ready to fight. Also, I used one of my cards, cantrip cards, to use Tesseract Tunnel, which lets me create a portal between two spaces, starting from one movement to another.
Okay. That's a hell of a move.
Can I see this happening?
Yeah, absolutely. You hear the guitar riff, like amongst the Brahm and the screaming, you hear just a you look up and you see Caldor descending down. Caldor. That's a hell of a drop, though.
Yeah.
Do you have something that can stop?
I was gonna say, so
there was another cantrip I wanted to use, but it wasn't gonna help because I can only use the one.
but you can
right
only
now.
use the one right now. Okay, so the Tesseract Tunnel is what we're gonna go with. I need a reflex saving throw, please.
Yeah. Well, like I thought I could do both, but then I saw that I have to actually use it and then also stride as a different action. I was
Sure.
like, oh, I won't have enough.
Yeah, not enough economy there.
Oh no.
Hey, that's a nat 20, baby. That's a nat 20.
Is that the boys' first roll?
That's the boy's first roll.
Of course you're
Yo.
a friggin' nat 20.
Okay. So, Caldor.
With that D Stratus dice.
Caldor. The dome rains down and crashes in, but there was like a cross section between it, where there were like these these railings and these chandeliers. And I think what happens is Caldor jumps down and manages to grab one of the chandeliers and swing down to the floor as you were throwing out that Tesseract tunnel.
And yeah, then he just like rips off his disguise and just stands there in front of this huge metal spider, trying not to cower.
Okay, well, Max, we're gonna get to Domingo's little bit here, but I'm gonna give this spider a chance to take a shot at Caldor.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, you survived not like killing yourself on the ground. Right
Yeah,
off
you
the
did.
bat.
Yeah.
That would have been what a cool entrance and exit.
Well, I rolled
no,
I
exiting
rolled a
anyways.
natural one.
Oh.
I thought
I
that was
roll-
the opposite look.
No, I'm just. We went from a 20. You getting to roll a 20 to me rolling a 1. Come on, man. The dice really want you to live through this. Okay, Caldor, as you land, the Brahm kind of rears back and shoots the spear out. But as it does, there's just enough momentum that you kind of swing past where that trident hand was going. So you're fine. Okay, Domingo, you see as Caldor is as this thing is bearing down, the Tesseract tunnel opens up, and what do you do?
I'm gonna work my way towards the tunnel to see if I can help clear the enemies there while I'm looking for Miguel.
Okay.
I imagine like he's gonna see that and move towards.
Yeah.
it.
You
That's
definitely
kind of
see
my
the
thought.
tunnel. You see the Caldor. You see the Brahm.
I'm also questioning why there's a Droman. It's just randomly here.
Yeah, they just kind of swung into action. And a lot of things going on
we'll
right
deal
now.
with that later.
Sure. Okay. So you're making your way over there, looking. So, what's the priority here? Looking for Domingo, looking for Miguel, or helping Caldor?
Honestly, I think the priority is, frankly, looking for Miguel. That's like the first thing I was doing.
Sure.
So I'll just kind of be looking for Miguel as I'm moving towards
Sure.
where, like, as like a first sweep.
You are looking for Miguel. Let's get a perception check.
That is a 22.
22 is excellent. You find Miguel.
Okay.
Miguel, and a 22 is good because Miguel is actually partially trampled, unfortunately. His entourage that was around him, well, when shit went down, they didn't protect him. They kind of just pushed him over and ran away. And some of them seem to have run over him. And he is like pulling himself up alongside a statue. And as he's kind of like gripping the marble and trying to like right himself, you can see he's hurt, right? He's bloodied. And you can see one of the brass sphere things crackling with electricity as it also notices him and is making its way toward him. And he is in a fight of his own.
And is Raylan staying with me at this point? Or did
Let's
Raylan
see.
run?
Did Raylan run? Raylan rolled a 19. Raylan's with you, buddy.
All right.
Raylan's your new ride or die.
All right. Come on, brother.
Come on, brother. Let's get him. Yeah, Raylan's looking around and he's just kind of like, you can see he wants to go towards the portal. But you see Miguel. What do you do?
I'm going to go towards Miguel and try and head off that electric orb.
Okay. Yeah, easily enough.
How far am I
Don't worry about distance. I'd say you can easily get there.
Okay. So I think what I'll do is, as I get closer, I'm gonna, I assume, use an action to move,
Yeah.
and then try to put myself in between Miguel and the orb, and use needle darts.
Okay. Is needle darts a save or an attack roll?
It's an attack.
All right, give me the attack roll.
And that is a 21.
21 is gonna hit him for sure.
All right. So we got, that is 4, 6, and another. That is 8 damage.
That's really good damage against this thing. That leaves it bloodied for sure, right? As you kind of like run out in between. Give me the flavor of your first needle dart spell.
So the first needle darts, I'm like almost making a running slide, and I imagine with all the blood, I'm like kind of sliding, and as I'm sliding, I'm putting my hand up, and you're seeing these metal fragments just kind of form into small needles, and they're just kind of shooting as I'm kind of like going sideways and shooting all these darts out at this orb, kind of, and you can see it just piercing along it in a line. So catching its attention.
Oh yeah, definitely you have its attention.
As I go in between.
Yeah, you as you're running up, the needle darts are flying out through the air, and you're just nailing this thing, just one after the other. Ching, 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 ching. Right, the orb is like slightly spinning now, and it's almost got like the spikes sticking out of it, like a little from different angles. And as it kind of like makes a full rotation, it locks back in, and it's now staring at you with these just spikes just jutting out of it.
My cape's flowing behind me.
Oh yeah, your cape kind of flows behind you and settles over Miguel. Yeah. That's some hero
I'll
shit.
look down to Miguel, just saying, "Time to get up, Miguel. Father wouldn't be very happy with me if I let you die, I guess."
I'm gonna say these are 2 very heroic moments so far, so I'm gonna grant retroactively a hero point for Caldor swinging in with the Tesseract tunnel, and 1 for protecting Miguel here. Okay, and with Raylan rolling up with you, Raylan's gonna kind of close in with you, pick up a dinner tray, and just chuck it frisbee style at this creature. All right, Raylan's gonna hit it.
All right.
For max damage. All right, that one's down. As it's like locked in on you, Raylan runs up right up next to you and just whips that thing. It kind of spins through the air, and it crashes into the creature hard enough that it spins out, crashes into the statue above, and you can see those needle darts that were jutting out of its body are just boom, just all it needs to push in that last little extra bit, and it just kind of crumples to the ground in just a kind of a haywire kind of sound, very internet upload connection sound, as it kind of just crashes in a crunch of metal. Yeah. Okay.
Raylan, how impressive. Remind me not to piss you off.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Come on, we found him. Let's go.
Time to get out. All right.
Okay, the 3 of you, start making your way towards the Tesseract tunnel. Caldor, you are fighting off against this Brahm. As you are squaring off against it, people are trying to rush in past it and rush in around you. It divides its attention between you and like just some juicy moments as people just panic to go by it, and it wants to kind of like take a strike at him. You see somebody actually trip up over its leg, and and now they're like splayed out in front of it. And it's an elven nobleman, and as he kind of turns up, you can see the blood in his face just drench as the creature just its red lights on these 8 red lights on its forward carapace just kind of begin to glow, and it's kind of like launching back, ready to strike this guy down. What do you do?
Yeah, I think I'm going to run up and kind of stand over the man and pull out another card to cast. Let's see, I think it's called Glass Shield.
Yami over
It
here,
creates-
king of
it-
games.
It creates a shield of glass that
Yeah.
stands over me. It just gives me a +1 to my AC
Yeah.
as I stand in front to protect the man.
Okay.
But yeah, and I think, I think he just takes out the card and slaps it onto his chest. As the music just isn't just like guitar riffs anymore. Now there starts to be like some chanting behind it, so some vocals as he's getting ready to actually jump into the fight himself.
Mm.
And then he's just there, axe, hammer, ready to fight.
Yeah, and the glass shield just kind of crystallizes in front of you, just, right? Okay, shield is up, and this thing is going to take its strike at you.
Yeah. One action to move, one action to shield, and not to get my weapons out.
Wow. That's a 4 on the dice.
Jeez.
I am not rolling hot here.
Good. Maybe this one I'll actually have a 0 session where I don't almost die.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's gonna
Don't
be
say that, yeah.
that's gonna be a 17 to hit you.
Just misses.
Just misses. It crashes into the shield. As the glass kind of forms up, it catches the trident as the trident is coming out, and the glass just shatters. It kind of catches it, and you can see it kind of spiderweb around the trident like a windshield crack, and then just as it stops the momentum entirely.
I look down to the guy beneath me, and you need to leave. I can't hold this thing off for very long. As he starts to take the chain and spin the hammer around, getting ready to strike.
Okay, you're getting ready to strike, and just as you are getting ready to do so, you hear kind of like another brief chorus of screams from behind you, and then you hear thundering steps, and then all of a sudden, Aboku, who took your Tesseract tunnel in the opposite direction, appears next to you and grabs one of the limbs of this creature and just kind of like drags it to the ground, and pins it, and is doing his best to kind of pin it down, and he's calling out to you, "Come on, boy, get it!"
Oh, hell yeah. I'll take a swing. If he's pinned it down, I think he'll, when his turn comes back up, he'll take his full action to just axe, and then still spinning the hammer, just bring it down like a whip to launch it, the axe through.
Okay, yeah.
Do some attacks.
Yeah, why don't we just go ahead, because at this point, Domingo, you are like crossing the room and you are about to see this happen. Like as you and Raylan have Miguel kind of like on your shoulders, right? The two of you kind of dragging him across the room, leaving like a streak of blood behind you. You see as Caldor and Aboku are fighting off this creature. Aboku, this big hulking orc, just emerges out of a tunnel and pins this mechanical spider to the ground, and you see a Dromar, a half-orc, with the weapons ready, about to take a strike at it. And go for your strike here.
All right. So the first attack was a 1, but the second one was a 18.
18 will hit. Not a crit, unfortunately, but go ahead, roll your damage.
That's fair. That's a 7 on the die, plus 4 for 11. So yeah, the axe like barely makes a dent into this metal character for this thing, and the axe comes through and pushes into it, actually dealing some damage as it bends the metal.
Yeah. There's kind of like a ringing, hammering, like blacksmith noise almost in the air as tink, bang, and you can see you kind of split open that forward head area of it, kind of crashing into like this little nest of these little red mechanical eyes that are swiveling about. Very much like, you remember the mechanical spiders in the Matrix? How they had like a little cluster of like lenses at the front? That's exactly what you kind of crash into. Okay, Domingo, you are pulling up as Caldor is just crashing into this thing's face.
Yep. So as with one hand, as we're kind of coming up there and moving, I'm going to use needle darts to kind of try to see if I can finish it as we're kind of walking by.
Sure.
Just doing a drive-by. Don't mind me.
Yeah, drive-by needle darts. Yeah, give me the attack roll.
Okay, so that is gonna be a 21.
21's gonna hit. Go ahead, roll damage.
Right.
Put the shell for you. Get right in there.
6 damage.
6 damage. I would say between the two of you, because this is going to be this is ultimately more of a skill challenge.
Right.
I'm going to give you the how do you want to do this,
Okay.
right? As we're kind of combining with Caldor's last attack here.
Okay. So describe the head a little more of this spider. So it's got like the extended eyes that are up. Are they more like on stalks?
Yeah. Some of them are on stalks, but they kind of like retract and extend, so they can kind of go from like this little like cluster of red lenses on the head, or to extend outwards into this more like little web or little nest of like stalks. With eyes to kind of like look around corners and stuff. And as Caldor is kind of like hit into it, they're kind of going haywire. They're going in and out, in and out, in and out, blinking on and off.
So in the middle of the head, I'm going to each successive needle dart, like it's kind of like, time slows. You're hitting each needle dart is hitting, like the first one hits, and then the second one actually hits the back of that other needle dart, pushing it further, and then the final one just crashes right into it.
Oh,
as it starts tweaking out.
yeah. As you're walking by, I'd say like you get just over Caldor's shoulder, and you can kind of like peer over like the crux of Caldor's shoulder into the creature's like head, and you can see there's like a central core. And this instinctually, right? You line up your needle darts. Pew, pew, pew. Right, and Caldor, you see as it kind of like just over your shoulder with just like pinpoint accuracy, as they kind of create a line of needles, a spear, and you just basically give this thing a mechanical lobotomy.
Yeah. Yes, and as I'm kind of doing that, I'm just kind of shifting right back into the Tesseract tunnel.
Okay.
So.
I'll say this is the moment where the two of you, your two characters are at their closest, right? Caldor, you look up and just like standing over your shoulder, just like a pace or two back is Domingo, and you look, and I think that's where the two of you make eye contact for the first time, as Domingo is just kind of like looking past, like turning back towards the tunnel.
Yep. Yeah, I see this drone, and I'm confused by it, but also I'm like, a little fortuitous, but it's safer than being on this floor. So Domingo isn't going to say anything yet. He's just going to kind of look. He's evaluating as we have this orc and drone in the middle that are armored, right? Because like nobody else is armored here except for guards. Or anything.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting. Okay. Like taking mental notes to discuss later.
Sure.
And just being prepared as I'm going to the other end of this tunnel where I don't know where it goes necessarily.
It goes out onto the roof, right, Caldor?
Well, I don't.
I know you. I know you don't know. Yeah. Yeah. But Caldor, that's where you had it set to go.
Yeah, it has to be from one point of a stride to the other. So yeah.
Okay. How long does the tunnel last?
Let me double check. 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. So, it's pretty solid. Okay. Caldor, Domingo passes you, and I would say at that point, a good number of people also begin to pass you, but there's kind of a bottleneck happening, right? Where people are trying to get through, and it kind of creates a situation where a lot of these machines just kind of rain in on them and use that bottleneck almost to their advantage a little bit as they're picking people off, the stragglers who are on the outside, as people are forcing their way through. Amongst this kind of churn of people, though, yourself and Aboku do manage to go make your way back through. And you saved a considerable number of people in the end, right?
As we're, pulling through, I think Aboku pulls me through the Tesseract. As he does, I want to just drop a couple of the bottles that I grabbed before I jumped just out.
Sure.
some final grenades for the,
Yeah.
Whoever hasn't gotten through, you're not getting through anymore.
Yep. Yeah, because there's still like a cluster of people that are also coming up. Don't worry, I'm not going to say have you grenade them, right? But behind them, they're being chased by a couple of the arbiters, the metallic spheres, right? And one of the Brahm is just kind of like Terminator spidering across the wall as you just kind of pitch those last two flasks out. Unfortunately, the people don't make it through the tunnel, but their pursuers are harried for just a moment. So maybe they get out, maybe they don't, but you gave them the best chance that you could. As Aboku pulls you out through the tunnel, and the two of you are on the roof, a good number of the crowd having made it as well. And I think I'll give you guys a chance to do a little RP with each other, as you are, for the moment, somewhat safe on the roof.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna.
And your characters meet.
I'm gonna turn to Raylan real quick. It's like, could you hand to Miguel for a moment? I wish to have a discussion with our new guests. Did you?
I think as whatever's happening with you, you see that currently Caldor is like scrambling, like he's trying to figure out what's going on, and like Aboku was probably like trying to like settle him a little.
Yeah.
Because he's like, we have to go, and Caldor's like, there are people still there. He's like he is lost in this like, how do I fix? How do I help?
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna start walking up. Like I'm covered in like just grime and smoke and everything else, right? So as I'm walking up, I'm going to use prestidigitation on myself just to make sure I'm spotless. Presentation is key. Right? Hello, and I'm just gonna kind of walk up. My name is Domingo de Posto. Thank you for the assistance back there. I'm just a little bit confused as to what else we can. What are you doing here today? I wasn't aware of any orcs or dromen that were coming to the party in such armored attire.
I think Caldor turns, and you see him like almost grip his weapons a little tighter, and he looks at you. It's just like, we came to make sure that you noticed us.
Well, consider yourself noticed.
Indeed. Are your people okay?
Well, many seem to have perished. I'm more concerned about what is happening across the city at this point. But you did save quite a few of us back there. So I can thank you for that. I can't say I've had a lot of fond interactions with orcs or Drummond in the past. So it is refreshing to have a positive interaction, per se.
Feeling is mutual. There was a lot of explosions near the shore. We should probably go farther up. What's the highest elevation you think you could find? We need to find something safe, something to sort of shelter.
So we're at, I guess, the dome. I imagine this is kind of a large reading area, but I assume there's probably like a more central keep government district. That's
you guys have pretty decent elevation. A lot of Redhestle is fairly flat, with the exception of the steps, which is where the nobles kind of live. That kind of goes up the side of the mountain a bit. Very Minas Tirith style, tiered, kind of climbing up the side of the mountain. But you see that these things are raining down all over the city. And it doesn't seem like anywhere is safe, perhaps maybe underground. But I think the nitty-gritty details about saving the city, we're not going to play out, unfortunately. just in the interest of time. But I would say the two of you can certainly bond this evening as you make your way around the city. If your plan is to try to find a place to shelter people, there are catacombs beneath the Liberty Citadel, so on the underside of the building that you are currently in, that you could certainly move people to. Domingo, you would easily know about these. You explored them as a boy, kind of thing.
Yes, could take them to the catacombs. I do have some. Oh, we do have some rope. I guess I technically would have rope on me, because we'll have to get these people off the top of the building, of course. I think that is maybe our first step, and then we can discuss in further detail and what your needs are.
I think he stands up a little straighter. And David, what does the city look like right now? Like,
City's on fire.
This would, yeah. There is just fire everywhere.
Fire everywhere. Yeah, and the meteor shower.
Meteor shower of doom devices.
Oh, and the seas are like, you can see waves like from here even, which is kind of far from the harbor. Even from here, you can see just towering waves just crashing over the top and kind of like crashing into the seaside section of the town.
I think Caldor just kind of stands. You see his like back is to you now as he like looks out at the city, and he's just like fire everywhere, almost like a silhouette of flame, as he just kind of thinks out loud. We're all gonna need help after this. And yeah, he's gonna help you get everyone down somehow. We'll figure it out.
Yes, we'll get creative. I think, like right now, Domingo's first mission is just to make sure Miguel gets down to the catacombs and then reassess from there.
On the subject of Miguel, Aboku has been treating him with using battle medicine, and has been getting him back on his feet, quite literally, because he has these giant gashes where the glass shards fell. Looks like one of them cut into his legs pretty nasty. So Aboku just says, he's basically gives you a diagnosis like, yeah, he's not going to be running around a whole ton tonight, so I can help carry him down to the catacombs, kind of thing.
Greatly appreciated.
Roll a society check here.
I'm going to use a hero point.
Sure, you got two of them.
Yep, so that is a 19 plus 5. 24.
24?
I had a nat 1 before. Just for
yeah, but definitely hero point worthy. You recognize, as you're now standing up next to Aboku, as he's kind of pulling Miguel onto his shoulder, it clicks. A vague recognition of this man. Last time you saw him, though, the left side of his face was scorched and burning. Courtesy of your fireball. But you do recognize Aboku.
Does Aboku recognize me? Have I like?
I would say, yeah. I would say Aboku. Aboku recognizes you, but almost in like a, not necessarily in like a begrudging way, kind of thing. Sure. You know, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like Aboku holds anything against you for this. In fact, maybe he is actually a little bit more respectful of you. But you definitely recognize that this individual had tried to kidnap you once in your youth.
Okay. I'm going to just keep an eye out and watch him like a hawk while he has Miguel.
Yeah, fair enough.
But like at the same time, like, I don't really have the equipment and or the resources.
The strength modifier?
I can't really, no, I'm not a very strong character.
It's okay. Aboku is definitely a strong character. Okay, so we're fast approaching our break time here, so let me just go. Yep. We're going to just kind of wrap up a couple things here on this night of the invasion. Yes, you guys are able to get Miguel and a considerable number of people to the catacombs. And then thereafter, with Miguel secured, you also meet Caleb, Maria, Arno.
Mhm.
They're all in the catacombs as well. Caldor, you head back out to the city to help whoever you can. Domingo, I don't know if you go as well.
I think Domingo would, at least, to just kind of make sure that nobody's heading towards the Citadel or anything like that.
Sure.
So, but he's gonna grab some of his equipment or whatnot that
Sure.
or some stuff that he has, and then kind of go out because he's more curious. Is Aboku staying there, or is Aboku going out as well? Though I guess that's part of it.
Aboku,
Mhm.
yeah, Aboku will go out as well, but there's a long exchange between Aboku and Caleb initially. Like when Aboku comes in with Miguel in his arms, obviously the credit of rescuing Miguel should go to Domingo. But when asked about the rescue, Miguel mentions Aboku's skill at medicine. Miguel mentions Aboku carrying him to the catacombs. And Aboku tackling the Brahm. Roll a sense motive check here for me, Domingo. And Caldor, you can get in on this too if you'd like.
Oh, for sure.
What does sense motive fall under? Again?
Perception as well.
That's a 23.
23. I'll give you a little bump
Yep.
because you know your brother, but I'll see what
Yeah.
Caldor gets as well.
Pretty good too, but not 23. 20? Yeah, 20.
Okay. Caldor. Okay, so Caldor, you're not going to know the exact details of this, right? I'll tell you what you know here in a summary, but you definitely succeed. Domingo, what you kind of pick up is Miguel is always looking for an opportunity to get ahead of you. And your recognition of Aboku did not go unnoticed. And Miguel's a smart guy. Put two and two together. And you can tell that Miguel's got something up his sleeve, but
Mhm.
is trying to big up Aboku to Caldor.
Or to Domingo.
Toward Caleb. And Caldor, you get the sense of like, okay, clearly your dad's getting a lot more recognition than he probably deserved. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, he was heroic, but I don't know about that heroic. Like, you sense that something is up, and you sense that it is in direction of Miguel and Domingo having some politics between each other. So you definitely know that there's something going on there. The exact details of the relationship you probably don't know, though.
Mhm.
Gotcha. I think he just sighs and like thinks nobles as he's
Rich
busy. He's got other
people.
things to worry about. He goes off to the city
Yeah.
yelling out for Elias.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Domingo?
And I think Domingo, especially after that exchange, out of like frustration, it's like, well, I need some glory here.
Hmm.
So like, all right, now I need to go out in the city and try to kill some of these apparitions. So
Okay. All right. And that's where we end the night of the invasion. Assuming your two characters go together, are you guys fine if you
we'll tag
spend
along because I don't
Yeah.
want to go alone.
Yeah, you guys will spend the night kind of bonding, forged in fire together in the battle of the invasion, the first wave. Okay.
Oh,
Nicely done, gentlemen.
all right.
Okay. Whoa. Let me do a quick little adjustment of some music here. Okay, so we got a little bit of a time skip here then. Okay, this is a zero session and we got some things to cover. So, with the events of the first wave kind of behind us, the post first wave, just as Domingo and Caldor find and forge an alliance, right? Maybe a budding friendship. I don't know. You guys can decide how close is your relationship. I'll let you decide. Like if you know, maybe there was a dicey situation. You came in for one another, kind of thing. But at least you know each other now.
Right. I think there's a growing respect. I think after the heroic actions of Caldor to like help people, and kind of in a way kind of got Domingo and his brother out of that issue. So I think when it comes to specifically Caldor and actually Aboku as well, um, Domingo is like, all right, maybe these orcs and drillmen aren't too bad. I mean, kind of help me out. But and then fighting alongside Caldor, I would say, kind of fighting, going through the streets, trying to help people and stuff like that. I think it was definitely more of an eye-opening experience, because I mean, Domingo wouldn't have really be interacting in a more friendly manner with Droman or orcs. So I think it was a good growing moment for Domingo to kind of have those interactions.
Hero point for growth.
So
yeah, I think Caldor is definitely open to anything really. This is kind of what he wants, but I think with Domingo specifically being noble, he finds himself having a hard time believing like the politeness, any of that. The acknowledgments seem, he believes, to be hollow, but he is ultimately, this is what he's here for, and he's going to try to create that connection.
And also, just for peace of mind, Caldor, Elias is fine.
Oh, thank fuck. that's the dad I actually like.
Yeah. Your other dad's fine. We'll get to Elias later on. In this time skip, then your characters become closer, become allies. A friendship is being forged. Another friendship is being forged. Aboku and Caleb also become allies. Caleb, incredibly grateful for the role Aboku played in the rescue of his son, Miguel. I was about to say Domingo, but of course that would be wrong.
Care about Domingo?
Yeah. And Aboku does actually, Caldor, in the wake of the invasion, Aboku finally achieves one of the things that he just wanted all along. That recognition. He's finally gotten the ear of Caleb the Posto, and a few things happen in the wake of the first wave. The city is defended, but majority of the city's defense had been dedicated to the Liberty Citadel. The majority of the city's defenses, men at arms, were there to defend the Liberty Citadel. Beyond the steps in the Liberty Citadel, out into the Harrows and the Harbor District, where things were pretty intense. Unfortunately, there was a pretty hefty toll, but a hero did emerge. You guys start to hear rumors of Commander Daedric Bond, a mercenary leader of a band of mercenaries called the Patriot Blades. And a lot of people in Redhestle, a lot of those who remain, especially out in the general public, really view him as the hero of the first wave. They believe that Commander Bond was more dedicated to protecting the people of Redhestle and the Patriot Blades than was Caleb the Posto. So Caleb does start to have a little bit of a wrinkle in his reputation with the populace. Aboku, and I would say Domingo, one of the things over this time is being privy to conversations and stuff like that. Caleb views Bond's growing influence as a threat. And Aboku advises Caleb that perhaps he should bolster his numbers in the city. And, at the same time, secure warriors to defend it, should the Monarch, the Red Moon, should the Monarch's forces return. And they certainly have been like little skirmishes here and there. You guys run into them. You hear that the Patriot Blades, they do have a few band of patrols that they send out to some of the surrounding area. And you hear stories of Brahm and Arbiters and other strange creatures that have to be fought out in the world. Aboku, though, does have an idea of how Caleb can accomplish this. Aboku advises that Caleb extend an invitation to relocate the prisoners of Tempest Isle, and an island surrounded by storms, perpetually surrounded by storms, that has been used by the Republic to imprison people. Extend an invitation to those prisoners to relocate them to the city of Redhestle. The population of Redhestle has been harmed, and there's a number of empty buildings and stuff, so they'd be able to adapt to a home. There's space for them. But Caleb is initially somewhat hesitant about this due to the history, but Aboku's convincing. So Caleb agrees to send a diplomatic mission to extend the invitation to the holes of Tempest Isle. I say the holes because Tempest Isle is its own community, factioned in different tribes, and the populace of Tempest Isle consisting mostly of orcs. Now, the orcs have been imprisoned there for generations at this point. The story of how they were imprisoned is a history we don't really need to get into. But the point is that Aboku has been advocating for their freedom for a while. And it seems that he's finally accomplished it, as now Caleb is sending this envoy. This envoy consists of Aboku, Miguel, to extend the invitation to show as a show of sincerity on Caleb's part, and Caldor and Domingo. You four have been chosen for this mission to go to Tempest Isle and convince the island's leader, a young Dromar named Kabok Stormborn, to bring his people to Redhestle, that there is a home here for them, and in exchange, they may be called to the city's defense. And that, as you guys are setting out for this mission, and you are about to board the vessel that will carry you through the perpetual storm that surrounds Tempest Isle, and as that journey is about to begin, this is where we're going to take our break for today, and we'll return with the journey to Tempest Isle and Kabok Stormborn, and then we'll go from there.
And at this point, it's all dark, right?
No, not yet.
Tidally locked?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, last wave. We still have a day and night cycle for now, and a sea. We still have a sea for now as well.
We still got water for now. Okay.
We still have water, and magic still works. So, yeah.
All right.
Yep. Things are bad, but they're not as bad as they're gonna be.
It can always get worse.
It can always get worse, right? That's the moral of the Heroes of Histaeria campaign, right? Its core ethos. It can always get worse. All right. So, guys, we'll be back in about 10 minutes. You should be as well if you want to see how this gets worse. Go stretch your legs, let your dogs out, go to the bathroom, and we will see you in 10 minutes, 10 real-time minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, 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 guys. Welcome back to Stealthy Elf Productions. We're playing a little bit of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. This is our Heroes of Histaeria campaign. This is the last of 3-0 sessions for our new campaign featuring our last two PCs, Caldor D, Stratus and Domingo de Posto. You should definitely check out the last 2-0 sessions if you want to see the rest of the cast. This is all part of our New World Rebellion campaign, the third campaign in the Heroes of Histaeria series. ElfCon. Let's go. All right. We are picking up with our party. Let's see here. This one. We are picking up with our party as they are just about to head out to cross this one. As they're just about to head out to cross the water that spans between ooh, it's kind of loud. Give me a second here. Just lower some volumes here. Excuse me. Okay. All right. You guys are about to get onto the ferry that connects the mainland to Tempest Isle. Tempest Isle, you cannot see. What you can see from the horizon, upon the horizon, is just like a cutout section that just seems like perpetual storms. The sky is just gray and dark, and there's just a shower of rain and fog that masks the island in the distance. But you are at a stone dock. There is a boat and a long chain that just extends for miles into the storm, and the boat seems to be tethered to the chain. So you guys get aboard, and as you are boarding, Oboku just warns, all right, be ready. Once we begin this journey, there's no stopping until we get to Kabok.
All right. Let us accomplish our mission.
Don't expect.
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say that I think Caldor would be like not right next to his dad, but like close enough that you can talk to him a little bit, hushed. And as he's saying all this stuff, get ready, we're gonna meet the stuff, and I think he tries to like slyly be like, I told you there were other ways to be noticed.
Pats you on the shoulder. You were right. You were right. Maybe I'm just getting old.
Maybe so. He just like looks out into the storm. I'm excited to meet our people. Like, and he's just I think Domingo, we've spent a good amount of time the last few days together, and I think you've noticed that like whenever Caldor isn't doing business, he like goes into like a default state where it's like kind of formal, like he's clearly been trained to be like polite and other things, but not on your level, more like a handmaid or a knight, like that sort of thing. And part of that is this like very small smile that shows softness but doesn't bare his tusks. Like it's a very practiced smile. And now that he's here, he is this big, like unending grin, teeth bared, ready, looking forward.
Take a hero point, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm here for that shit. Okay. You all pile onto the boat, and it begins to move.
I hope it does.
Kind of starts creaking along as it's being dragged through the storm. I'm playing with my sound effects a lot today. Okay. As it's going, it's open air for a while, but then you see these panels at the side begin to kind of close up over the top, and it becomes more of a bunker and a very kind of closed air situation as the sides still kind of rock and heave, but you lose sight of the horizon entirely as the ship becomes this sort of like armored torpedo along a chain that's going through the storm. Your first part of this challenge of getting to Kabok is not losing your lunch because the ship is rocking. There's no horizon or airflow. It gets to be very uncomfortable very fast. I will say Miguel starts puking immediately. He just goes green and just is below deck, just sorry. But yeah. So, fortitude saves, please, gentlemen. Not your thing, Domingo.
No.
Mine either, actually. But I think I'm going to use one of my hero points because, like, with the D Stratus name, I have to be good at being on a boat. It feels like I have to.
Yeah, you got to do it justice. You have a reputation to uphold.
Oh, someone does.
Someone does.
I think part of it. I think this might be funny. I'm gonna hold on to my points. I think I might need them later.
Sure.
All right, that's pretty good. You said it was a
fortitude.
Fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 20.
20.
Yeah.
Okay, 20. You are fine. You succeed. You are queasy, but you are not. You're not overcome. I think you. It is a long journey that the ship is moving painfully slow as it just kind of creaks along the chain, and you can hear the waves kind of crashing on the outside, and every now and then you're tossed, right, and you almost like lose your footing, but you do not suffer any ill effects. Kayla,
I got
Domingo.
an 8.
Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, with an 8 you are sickened 1.
Okay.
You are, but you don't take any damage.
Okay.
There's no damage or anything, so just a condition.
So am I like puking or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So every time like I puke or whatever, I'm gonna try to be as incognito as possible, but I'm also gonna do precipitation after every single time.
After every single one.
Every single time.
There's Domingo, just green and sweaty, and after as he lifts his head up, and give us the flavor of your prestidigitation, is you're kind of like, you're green, you're sweaty, you just look awful, your eyes are dark and bloodshot.
Yeah, and I'm just like, snap my finger, right? And then everything like cleans up, looks perfect for like 3 minutes until I puke again. And then, I'm going through the same process. Just agonizing. But Domingo's gonna be damned if he doesn't look perfect.
Aboku kind of gives you a nod of respect. Meanwhile, Miguel is just below deck, just laid up like Miguel was a critical fail.
Sure, okay.
Okay. So, you're sickened, and Caldor, you're fine. All right. Next phase of the journey, you guys arrive to upon the shore, and you are immediately met by apparently lightning. Hang on.
Sounds like a jungle to me.
Sounds like a jungle, eh? Oh, it's because of the storms. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, as the ship pulls in, it begins to kind of unfurl, and you see that the island itself, Tempest Isle, sits within the eye of the storm. So the skies around are all this kind of like churning orange and gray. And as the ship opens back up, you can look back and you can see almost like a wall of rain and darkness, right? Now you can no longer see Histaeria beyond. And all you see is Tempest Isle up ahead. It's a jungle island. Looks fairly... this is like the coming into King Kong, right? You see the mist-laden jungle beyond. As you kind of get closer, you can see the beaches. The sand is almost a gray, greenish kind of color. And as you land, you can see that this side of the this side of the ferry, the ferry house and the lodge, has not been nearly as well maintained. Actually, as you step off, you can see that whoever was maintaining it is no longer there. Because when you left, you left from Omeron employees, right? Kind of manning the ferry and making sure you got over. When you get here, there's no one here to receive you. And as you look around, it's eerily quiet, right? I mean, the only sound is that of the nature around you, but there's no sound of people or industry around you.
Yeah. Also, as we're coming out of the storm, can I attempt to recover?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
give yourself
retching action.
Give yourself one final puke.
Yeah. So I did roll a natural 20. So
There
I'll
you
take
go.
it.
There you go.
Nat 20. So yeah, I'll just retch so that I can be done with the sickness.
Down with the sickness?
Yes, down with the sickness.
Oh.
And then I clean myself up before I leave the boat.
Perfect. Okay. You're on shore. Let's get perception checks as you get on here.
All right.
I got a 7.
Yeah, you're still a little bleary-eyed. Still some remnant tears from that last bout.
Yeah.
Right.
16 is not the worst.
16's not the worst.
Not very good.
Yeah.
That's not the worst.
Yeah, Caldor, as you land and you're looking around, you see something towards the tree line. It almost looks like a person standing still in the distance. So you just kind of get the rough silhouette, right? Again, the light out here isn't great because of the storm and stuff, so your range distance isn't perfect. But off in the distance there, just along the tree line, looks like there's a figure.
I think, in that way that's very casual, like I adjust my hands onto my belt by my weapons, ready to pull, and I whisper to Aboku, I think they can see us. Do we just approach them?
Aboku says, yes. We have to go straight to Kabok. I imagine if we want to earn his respect, we'll have to be direct. So, let's go. And rest assured, as he kind of peers along the tree line, they can see us. You guys make it over to the tree line, and as you get closer, you realize that it's not actually a person, but it is a sort of totem, perhaps. And as you get closer, maybe a scarecrow or something, but then you finally make out what it is. It is a Brahm that has been pierced through with 2 spears, kind of lodged in the sand, almost on display. And as you get towards it, you look around and you start to see from that one, there are others. And it kind of lead up a trail, up a more obvious trail into the jungle. You see Brahm arbiters just left on display.
I want to activate something, which
Sure.
I'm not 100% sure how this works, because I've never championed before, but there's something called the Champion's Aura, which is a 15-foot emanation, and kind of just lets everyone who is a worshiper of the same thing know that you are a champion. And I worship specifically my ancestors in this scenario. So I want that aura to be active. It is a concentrate thing, so I have to
sustain it kind of thing. Yeah, we're kind of in role play mode, so I'll just you're sustaining it as long as you want to sustain it.
Right.
What's the flavor of this? What does it look like? How does it manifest?
Well, what we were talking about yesterday, I
Mhm.
think it's like a hum.
Mm.
I think it's a low hum that can just kind of be heard in the background, almost like an old woman on their porch humming while they, knit or some shit, something soothing. Uh, Maybe not something that relaxing, but you know what I mean.
Sure. Caldor, you step forward and you begin to activate this emanation, that hum picking up the in the ether around you from no particular source other than centralized around you, but within that space anybody who's in there can kind of hear that music, Domingo, yourself included. And Aboku seems to kind of swell with pride as you guys are about to step into the tree line, I imagine. Unless, Domingo, do you have any qualms against that?
Nope. I think I'm at this point, like, I didn't see anything, so
Mm. Oh no, you would have
I'm
been brought
yeah.
over, and you see the
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I see all the other stuff. So it kind of looks like a path. So essentially I'm kind of trusting our guides, right?
Mm-hmm,
to take
mm-hmm.
us in the right direction. So I'm still on my guard though at this point.
Okay.
Just because I'm like, in a way we are kind of in enemy terrain,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or and we've got two Postos from
Yeah. And Miguel, I will say,
uh,
with a critical failure, is not able to get
mhm,
rid of his sickness, so he's still like very green and waffly,
mhm.
but doing his best to maintain the bearing of the.
Mhm.
Uh, so they
This
don't. There's no one here to meet us. That seems rather rude, wouldn't you all say?
I don't think they get many visitors, dear brother.
uh, Not since they were, put here. I would agree with you, Domingo. Uh,
You
Maybe
look a
there's a way
bit
we can get
messy
there too.
there as well, Miguel. Let me clean you up. And I'm gonna snap my fingers and clean up his attire. Can't be having you dishonoring the family name.
Thank you, brother. Much
You're very
appreciated.
welcome.
Oh, that ride was rather treacherous.
Fair enough. It was uncomfortable.
I hope this Kabok is worth it. All the effort he's put us through.
Father thinks so. You must trust father's judgment.
He kind of, I would say Caldor and Aboku are kind of like up ahead, right? And Miguel
Mhm.
kind of leans into you and says, "It's not father's judgment I'm worried about." As he nods towards Aboku.
Mm. Do you have some other inklings, dear brother?
I'm just surprised at all at how quickly his influence has grown.
Well, dear brother, you did give him all the credit for saving you. What did you think that was going to do for our father?
Well, I had not anticipated this. You know that the two of you,
Hmm.
at least like Miguel's not coy about the games that the two of you play. You know,
Right.
you've
Yeah.
owned it for years, right? It's like been obvious.
Hmm. Yeah. Like I knew exactly what he was doing, but
Yeah,
like
yeah. And he knew that
nevertheless.
you knew, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you both, for some reason, think your father doesn't know.
What what did have you been able to glean any information about a post or guide?
I think our guide isn't working alone. I think he's working with another, whose intentions are worth being concerned about.
What this Kabak?
Perhaps. Have you heard of the chef?
Would I have heard of the chef?
Maybe. Roll society.
So that is an 18.
18? Yeah. The chef is a drug dealer, crime boss. A colloquial name for the crime boss in Redhestle.
Yes, I am familiar. I mean, how can you live in Redhestle and not be familiar with the unsavory reputation?
Well, let's just say some of us may be a bit more than familiar.
Interesting. An interesting alliance, per se. I just hope it does not disrupt the balance of control within the city with all the most recent developments.
That remains to be seen. Perhaps if his plan is true, though, at least it will give Father the support that he needs.
Of that I can agree.
But it falls to us to make sure to keep a close eye on these. And he kind of just like gestures with his chin towards Caldor and Aboku.
Aboku, I'm still trying to understand. I think Caldor is a good sort. So he does not play the games like we do. Seems genuine.
And I think it's kind of like with these kind of discussions and, you know, hush discussions and rumors, sharing of rumors, you guys make your way through the jungle. The jungle is, again, in the eye of the storm as you guys get in here and you're off of the shore. There is something I need to adjust on Soundtale real quick because there is no wind at all. It is very humid. It is very dense. It is very sticky. And how do you guys approach this? I'll give you the chance to do something about it. Otherwise, I do need a round of fortitude checks. But if you have something clever to kind of keep yourselves cool and managed as you're making your way through the jungle, go for it.
So the fortitude is for the heat specifically, right? Okay.
I'll give you the opportunity to adjust that save.
I think for Domingo, just to kind of try and keep himself from getting, to keep his feet from getting too wet, right? He's going to continue to use that precipitation to kind of keep his feet dry and, try to keep the comfort up as much as possible. Like, he's continuously getting hot, sweating, but, a dry pair of socks while going on a long hike goes a long way. So I think that's going to be his focus, is to try and keep everything as cool and crisp as possible by using that precipitation.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. Roll an occultism check for me. Occultism is your spellcasting school, right?
I think it's Arcana.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Arcana. Go ahead, roll Arcana check. Whatever's your school or your type.
Yeah, that's a 17.
17? Okay. A 17, I'd say that's a regular success.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead, roll your fortitude save.
I rolled a 19 plus 5. So that's 24.
24. It's a very good roll. Yeah, you're fine. You are able to keep yourself cool without suffering any sort of adverse effects.
Okay.
All right.
I flap my cape around too.
Domingo knows how to handle the heat. All right, Caldor, do you?
I am not going to use any of my spells because I only have 22 of them.
Sure. Yeah, fair enough. I only have 22 of them ever.
I'll figure out how to refill those one day.
You gotta buy a new deck.
Yo,
Yeah.
The new expansion's coming out.
Oh my god. Anyways, no, I'm just gonna roll.
bigger, blacker deck.
You're just gonna go for the save, the raw save?
Oh
Yeah,
no.
raw save. That's a
Alright.
2 on the die, but I have something called Prophecy's Pawn that as a reaction, I can re-roll a save that I
Okay.
super failed.
Yeah, you did super fail.
And the kind of back and forth on this is that I'm twisting fate as a chosen one to like manifest that destiny.
Okay.
But you, as the DM, for the next 24 hours, can call this 2 back up and give me a fail on the next save, on whatever save you want.
Okay, for the next 24 hours, I have a free critical failure. Done.
Yeah.
Soul, sir. That is an amazing ability.
I was so scared. It was it looked like it was gonna be a 3 to hit my my tablet, and I was like, I'm gonna waste this for another fail. Oh my
Oh
god.
no.
But no, it's good. It's a 17 plus 7, that's 24. I just tough out the hate and the hot and the
Yeah. I would say, 24 is actually going to be a crit success. So you not only like tough it out and stuff, but I mean, you almost handle it with like an air of, I don't know, naturalness about you. Like, of course it wasn't going to stop you. There's sort of an undeniable gravitas to Caldor as he's hiking his way up here, and the chants of his ancestors are kind of like slowly rolling in around him. All right.
That 2's gonna come back to hop me.
Oh yeah. 24 hours is a considerable amount of time. Okay, you guys continue. You make it through the jungle then. You find yourselves now at the foothills and kind of like valleys that precede a tall mountain. And as you start to arrive here, the effigies and totems and trophies of the Brahm and Arbiters are no longer. You make your way through the tree line, and instead you see sitting on a flat stone is a knoll, or a colo, since the remaster. A colo, a hyena-like individual. This one kind of has a more like reddish, brindley kind of coat, very raggedy, dressed in a motley assemblement of like scrappy, damaged, dented bits of armor over a dark gray, kind of like Ronin's kimono, with like lots of different patches and tears in it, and stitching kind of exposed. This Kolo very much looks like a vagabond out of like a manga from feudal Japan. And as you all approach, he kind of like lifts the head up, and you can see one eye is scarred and unable to open, but the other one kind of looks up at you all. And as you step out, he says, "Welcome. I am the keeper of the path to the Stormborn. Easy. You're expected."
Okay. I mean, I guess we can just walk then, right?
May I, keeper of the path, may I inquire upon your name?
Kind of spits. "My name's not important, but people around here call me Rusty."
I see. Nice to meet you, Rusty.
"And your names?"
I am Domingo de Posto, of the De Posto family, and my younger brother, Miguel. We are here to treat with a kabak.
I am Caldor D. Stratus. son of a Boku.
Aboku looks over and nods, and the jackal hyena, the Kolo, kind of gives like this kind of sneer, and his eye lights up. Ah, so you're still alive, eh? I don't die easy. This is my son. He's here to meet your king. Impressive. I think he's gonna be well liked around here. As for you two, the Posto, you say?
Yes. We come under the guise of is an envoy.
Ah, so this is a matter of state then. A professional
It certainly
visit.
is. Yes.
Well, no time for dilly-dallying then? Kind of like creaks off of the stone, stretches his legs with a crack of the knees, hops down, and goes, this way.
All right.
Okay. He starts to guide you up the mountain pass. It's a fairly treacherous climb. There's lots of loose stones, scree, sand kind of sliding underfoot. And Rusty, despite kind of being what appears to be a geriatric old gnoll, does seem pretty quite spry for his age, as he's kind of springing from like handhold to handhold when the occasion calls. You can see this pass is not for the faint of heart. So how do you guys handle the mountain pass?
I think Caldor, I mean, his weapons are almost uniquely helpful in this situation.
True this.
So he goes in very, very manual, but everywhere that he can, it's just axe in place, hammer in, climb up, hold, pull out, and like swing forward, and just keeps going bit by bit. Yeah, I think he's really putting in effort to show his skill with this kind of unique weapon that he's crafted for, or developed a skill with.
Okay, so I will allow you to use an attack roll here, but athletics is also an option, whichever you prefer.
Let me see what I do prefer. They're the same.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's a 19
That's really good.
for athletics, plus 8, 27. Because I'm going with athletics. I want it to look, hefty, powerful.
Okay, yeah. I feel free to describe it as you're making your way across this mountain pass with your weapons.
Yeah, I think it's kind of unnecessarily flashy. I think part of him wants to show off. Like he heard his father talk about how he brought me to meet the king. He knows that in some way or form, his father believes him to be special, not only for, in general, but for his people. He heard the gnoll or Rusty talk about how he thinks I'll be liked for some reason. So he wants to make sure people see him in a way that he's never done this in the city. He's never tried to be seen, but he wants to be seen now. So he jumps from outcropping to outcropping, uses his swinging axe to like lodge in place, and then swing up with his hammer, and just keeps going back and forth, farther and farther. Yeah.
I think with your roll, there's a point where you even overtake Rusty, as Rusty is guiding you up. You're like that kid who's kind of eager, on a hike, and who kind of like runs ahead a little bit. Except Caldor is doing this as impressively as possible in a feat of athleticism, and I don't know if your aura is still active, mechanically, but I think there's still like a resonance in this moment that kind of picks up, and the voice kind of you can hear the voice of your ancestors on the wind as you are climbing, and each hurdle that you accomplish, there's kind of like a beat in your chest, like that of like a heavy drum. And as you're doing this, not only does Aboku seem incredibly proud when you do catch glances of him, and I would say Domingo, his pride is obvious, but all of you begin to hear instrumentation starting to join. A sourceless orchestra of music that kind of begins to build up around you as you are ascending this. And Caldor, as you kind of stop, and everybody else, Rusty is the first to kind of catch up with you. The music that is kind of now playing throughout the hills, throughout this mountain, along this trail, echoing off the sides of the valley, joined by the undertone of Caldor's music, of his ancestors. Rusty stands next to you, Caldor, and says, "Told you they'd like you. That's quite a welcome."
I think he just kind of stands there, kind of just looking, listening. He's excited, but so very unsure.
Mm-hmm. As this orchestra plays, you are successful in navigating the pass. Domingo, how do you navigate the pass, my friend?
So Domingo is going to try and walk his way, or try to follow a similar path. Like, he is nimble, right? He's not necessarily the strongest character, but he's nimble.
Sure.
So he's going to just kind of attempt to work his way up, knowing that even if he falls, he'll be able to land well, right? So, and then occasionally, as he needs additional handholds, he'll use some of his needle darts just to kind of like put a hold into the wall.
Yeah, make a handhold.
Yeah, make a handhold where he can't quite reach necessarily in the same spot.
Okay.
So he's going to have that ready just to be able to kind of work his way kind of up. So.
Okay. Okay. All right. So
I can use
for the climbing and the flavor of your climbing, kind of relying on your nimbleness. Normally this should be an athletics check, but because I've done it before where I've allowed for acrobatics, if that is your preferred option, you can go ahead and roll acrobatics for it.
Yeah.
But the DC is going to be a touch different.
Sure. Well, that's a 19.
A 19 is still a success.
Right.
You're a little slower, but you're able to do it.
Slower. Yeah. Work my way up to the top.
Work your way up. And yeah, so with that, Miguel struggles at times, but Aboku is there to kind of lend a hand and pull the young human man along, as you are a little party of 5 with occasionally Caldor leading. Continues your ascent. The music of the unseen orcish magic begins to dissipate as you guys climb higher and higher. You begin to kind of cross now into almost mists, and the trail becomes difficult, but with what's his name, Rusty's guidance, easy enough. You guys still manage to succeed.
All right.
And the trail eventually hits this rickety wooden bridge. And as you stand at the precipice of this rickety wooden bridge, it's like a wooden drawbridge, right? It's spanning over some sort of chasm. You cannot see the distance below because of the fog, and you cannot see the end of the bridge because of the fog. But the planks of this thing are rotted and not looking great. Like, this is a treacherous little crossing. But Rusty goes, "All right, here we go. This way." He stands and offers one of you to lead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that option.
Okay.
Yep. I'll let him go first because I'm like, I don't want to be at the front.
Okay. Caldor, you step out and you can hear the groan of the planks beneath your feet. You can hear the sound of rocks falling in the distance into the chasm below you. A chasm, whose bottom you cannot see, as you are basically walking on a rickety bridge into milk. As you're moving through, you step and step. Occasionally, you bump your toe on like an uneven plank, and occasionally you have to step further than you think because the plank is they're unevenly placed. But soon you emerge, and you find yourself on a pathway that kind of a tight little ledge path that wraps up the side of a very sheer cliff. The rest of the party falls in behind you, and as you make your way up across this ledge, you occasionally have to do that thing where you press close, right, against and kind of sneak on through. And as you start to make your way up here, you can see that there are these kind of tight, these strange stone spires, that these things in spikes, these strange stone spikes that jut out of the ground, and there are actually a few orc skulls placed on each along the way. In fact, let's hop over to the map.
Ooh, there's a map. There's a map.
There's a map.
Oh, well, fuck. That's a whole ass face. And hands.
Rusty is kind of behind here. Yeah, and you kind of make your way up on that ledge there, and kind of make your way. You see that there are sections where there's stone stairs that are cut out, and then you climb through a gray stone archway. And as you step through, you can see the floor here is fractured and cracked, and at the center there's a shifting where the way the pebbles and the dirt has seemed to settle seems to be in the formation of a face that's just kind of slightly projected out of the floor, a giant face. And on the other side of the gray stone archway, sitting on a heavy gray rock, just looking at the face quietly, you see a young, tall, purple-skinned half-orc. His dark, shaggy mane is kept under a simple headband adorned with tusks. He's mostly unarmored, aside from a few colorful pieces of rustic armor. Other pieces are made of this kind of bluish-hued metal, and they seem actually quite finely crafted. These are his pauldrons, his bracers, his greaves. And he's just sitting there quietly, elbows on his knees, as he's just staring at the face in the dirt as your party makes it up here. And I'm gonna just pull that out a little bit. You guys can see that right there is Cabok Stormborn, whose art we can also thank the fantastic Ollie, Legacy Stratus, for this art. Appreciate you, bud. He looks great. So your party emerges up there. Yeah.
Do we have tokens on here?
You can drag your tokens. Yeah. Go ahead and drag your token. Oh yeah. Did you join the? I think I didn't add you yet. One sec. But Domingo, you should be able to see your token in Dragamon.
I dragged mine up.
Okay, save changes. All right, you might have to refresh, but you should have Caldor D Stratus in your journal now.
All right. I'll join him. I'll add him once it starts up.
Okay.
There we go.
This is not a great representation of a Boku, but it's an orc. It's the stat block token. And then Miguel's in his explorer's fit.
I mean, kind of handsome.
Yeah, he's quite handsome.
Yeah,
handsome.
us to Postos, we look pretty good.
Yeah. Quite a handsome family. Okay, so as you guys make it up onto this plateau, and you see the face, you see these stone horns kind of jutting out of the face in the ground as well. You see Kabok sitting there. Let's get some perception checks before we jump into roleplay.
23.
23, okay.
Yep.
19.
23 and a 19. Okay. These are both going to be pretty good, but the 23... So the 19, you'll get that there seems to be a skeleton that is kind of propped up against one of the horns and a chain of skulls, all over the place. As you're walking up, you also see there's a big gong up here behind Kabok. With the 23, you get some little architectural features. You see that these are actually hands holding up giant rocks. And you also see tethered to some of the spires in the back a couple of arbiters, a very damaged Brahm, yeah. And they're just kind
I
of
don't like the look of that, bro.
They're kind of like chained up and lashed to those spires, and they're unmoving, but you can see that occasionally like a light blinks, like they've kind of just given up. As Kabok is just kind of sitting there, looking at the face, and he says, "Welcome to the Storm Spire.
Thank you for treating with us.
You are from..."
I am...
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I am son of Caleb de Posto, Domingo de Posto, and my younger brother, Miguel de Posto.
The sovereign elect of Redhestle.
You are correct. We come to entreat with you on a potential opportunity.
An opportunity. What sort of opportunity?
Well, the sort that potentially could end your exile.
He looks from you to Caldor and to Aboku, and looks back to you and says, "What makes you think my people are exiled?"
Well, just going by the historical documents.
Forgive me. What makes you think we are exiled by your decree?
It is more of a opportunity to leave the Isle and perhaps start anew. As you can see, there is a extenuating circumstance where I believe that both of our peoples may benefit. And I gesture towards the
red moon.
Brahm and orbiters and the red moon right above our heads.
Yeah,
and,
like just kind of through the like stormy kind of sky, you can still see like there's a section of like red glowing clouds.
Yeah. But I believe that there's the thought is there's a greater threat sitting right above our heads. And it seems that Obwaku has convinced my father to send us to treat.
You're saying we could come home to the homes of our forefathers, of our ancestors.
Can be arranged.
I think at this point, Caldor tries to like step up a little bit. And he kind of does a slight nod or bow, not really sure what the formalities of this area are. And Kalbach, correct?
Nods.
My father and I have been in our own way fighting for our people to bring them back to be part of the world. This catastrophe has presented a chance for unity. I ask that you consider a future where our people are no longer locked, paying for crimes that they never committed.
Roll diplomacy. You can see that he's contemplating. And I will allow Domingo to aid. Yeah, you can aid here. So before you reveal the roll, let's hear what Domingo gets.
So I got a... Is it a flat roll for an aid, or is that...
No, it's also skill. Yeah, the same skill. So diplomacy as well.
Same skill. Yep. So that would be a 26.
26, I believe, is a critical success. So you get a +2.
Okay. My diplomacy is +4. I rolled a 17, so that is 23. Still less than your diplomacy. Even with the help.
Even with the +2.
Even with the +2. That is... Well... Kabok stands up, and it is very kind of fluid motion. And as he steps, despite his size, his steps are actually quite a bit lighter than you might anticipate. And he says, "This proposal has its merits. But though the proposal itself has its merits, it remains to be seen whether those who offer it can be trusted or are worthy."
And how may we prove ourselves to you?
In the way of my people. Through combat.
All right. What shall we combating?
I think Caleb. Caleb. God damn it. I think Caldor. There's a lot of C's in this one.
There's a lot of C's.
I think Caldor, like as soon as he says through combat, like he starts pulling weapons out, like he's assuming this man wants to fight, even if it's honorable. And I mean, sure, I'm committed.
He looks at you and he says, there's almost like a look of admiration. And he says, "Good. You speak well, Caldor D. Stratus."
Well, yes, we must ready ourselves. Miguel, prepare yourself.
Miguel says out loud, This seems rather barbaric, don't you think? Why that we should have to fight to earn your trust? Surely you see that our arrangement is beneficial to you."
I think Caldor turns to Miguel. He's not. I don't really like Miguel. I think he's like
Yeah.
pretty openly about it. It's like we had to fight to gain your trust, didn't we? Why should this be any different?
Miguel kind of sneers. Looks to you, Domingo. You believe this is the way?
Well, as some of our diplomatic teachers told us before, you have to crack a few eggs in diplomacy to get the job done. So we must do what we can. And you just kind of see some, starting to like flex his shoulders and whatnot. Hasn't pulled out his sword or bow, mainly focused on his other items.
Okay. Kabok moves out to the center. And well, actually no, before he does, he reaches down behind the pillar to the other side, to the far side where you guys can't quite see, and he draws a long bastard sword. This sword is, you see a flash of green because the blade itself has a sort of, the metal itself has a sort of greenish hue to it, and it's almost shaped, it almost looks like a long leaf where the base, towards the base, is a little bit wider, and towards the top it kind of slenders out, and there's a slight yellow kind of coil that kind of moves around it, and it looks almost like a metallic trail of lightning that kind of wraps around this green leaf. It kind of works its way into a twisted form for the hilt. And as he brings it out, you see he kind of offers it like a quick swoop, and then sheaths it behind his back. And says, and stands out towards the center. I think in the interest of time, he's going to crack his knuckles and say, "Come at me." And he's going to invite you. He's going to invite you to attack, and we are going to go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay.
Oh.
Not bad.
I need definitely different music here.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you guys get?
I got
11.
a 19.
You said 19?
Yeah, 19.
Okay. And what'd you get, Domingo? Or sorry, Caldor?
I got 11. I rolled a sub
Alright.
4, a sub 10, so you know.
Okay. Go ahead, and he's just kind of standing there, so you guys can position yourselves around the map however you like. Just kind of starting at a little bit of a distance. I think Aboku is going to follow your lead here, Caldor. So where do you want Aboku to kind of set up? Like in a flank from you?
Yeah, I think with the way that this has been presented, I want to go head first, like straight on.
Okay.
And I think if he sets up for a pincer, like as I'm going straight, he comes around, it would be perfect.
Okay. Yeah, he like while you guys are just kind of standing there and initiative is being rolled, yeah, he's kind of like flanking out, kind of watching. But Kabok like initially follows him and then just starts kind of watching you, Caldor. Domingo, where do you want to set up?
I am going to set up.
I'm gonna say anywhere
Caldor.
behind Caldor. Okay.
So I'll be like here,
Okay.
give or take.
Sure.
Let me just see. Let me just check. Yeah, that is perfect.
I think Miguel is gonna stand. Miguel is gonna stand near you, Domingo, just slightly behind, under the archway. Okay, so initiative. Kabok is going does have the top of the order, but will ready an action. We'll take one action to. I think as sees Aboku kind of moving along the side, in one kind of fluid motion is going to crouch and draw a bola from the side and throw it toward Aboku. And will very easily wrap up Aboku, who is now wrapped up and prone behind him. And he's going to, like, in that same kind of fluid motion, kind of stand up, look at you, Caldor, and just kind of crack his knuckles.
It's gonna hurt.
And yeah, then spend the next two actions to ready an action. So Caldor, actually no, I think Domingo is up next with the 19. Hang on. So that was him. Aboku's actually up next. So Aboku's going to try to escape and is not going to do it. I think Aboku's going to spend two actions to try to like bite his way out of the thing. So he's going to just make some attack rolls against the bola and almost dropped my dice cup. And then with the last action, climb to his feet. So two actions to escape with the one fail, one success, and then climb to his feet for the third action. Okay. Miguel is going to use what is the new. It's not Inspire Courage anymore. He actually does have some stuff. He's a bard. Courageous Anthem. He's going to spend one action to use Courageous Anthem. He's going to offer you all a +1 to attack rolls, damage rolls, and saving throws against fear. Okay, so +1 to your attack and damage rolls from Miguel. He is also going to spend the other two actions to cast invisibility on himself.
All right.
So Miguel,
right.
Miguel issues a word. He just kind of stands there and goes, "For the Posto name, for Redhestle," and that's his courageous anthem. And then he's going to whoop, invisible and just yoink out for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, not to PCs. Domingo, you are up with Caldor on deck.
Okay. I'm going to I'm gonna use Daze.
Days? Okay, go for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna use Daze. It's a basic will save.
Basic will. Well, it's not great on the dice, but he is a pretty high CR monster, so let's see. You say will?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a critical success with a 31.
Damn. All right. Well, we're not screwing with that. And that wasn't even a good roll.
His stat block is significantly higher than yours, guys.
I'm looking to survive one punch from this man.
And I think that's what he's looking for you too.
Oh, that's so funny.
I I'm going to use shield for my last action.
You shield for your last action? Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the flavor of your daze and shield?
I'm gonna like push. I'm gonna use essentially try to for my days. I'm kind of you see some sparkling lights and whatnot just appear right before him, and you see a big flash, almost like a bit of a flashbang. And then I see that it did absolutely nothing to him.
Yeah, he just closed
And
his
like,
eyes.
yeah, like I see. Well, the Postos we strive to live to fight again. And then I'm gonna snap my fingers, and then shield pops up.
Okay. Caldor, you're up.
Okay.
Good luck,
Well
buddy.
then. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna run in. This seems like an honorable man. I'm hoping I don't die, but that'd be fine. And I'm going to leap up and double slice.
As you close the distance, the first thing that'll be resolved is his ready to action to attack you as you step in.
Yeah. Saw this coming. It's okay.
So he is going to go ahead and use his ready action for an attack. And this attack is actually going to go ahead and, yeah, just be a fist attack. That is a 33 to hit you.
That's a crit, I believe.
Okay. It's going to be 19 damage.
Holy shit, from a bunch.
He's got fisticuffs. Did you survive a punch?
I did survive a punch.
There you go.
It is more than he is already bloodied. Oh.
Okay, so you run in to attack. As you leap, he is going to just as you are like midway through the air and you're arcing back for your strike. At some point, he closed the distance and he is just going to elbow you in the ribs, and your body is going to go from kind of like full back arch to full front arch over his elbow. As he just kind of like Muay Thai steps in and elbows you in the belly.
Okay. All right. Well, I still got an attack, right?
You still get your attack.
All right. Chances are okay. What is my bonus? I have a bonus because of Miguel, right? So a +1.
+1 for Miguel. Yep.
Okay. So 26.
26 to hit him.
Yes.
26 does not hit.
Son of a bitch, we're
Whoa.
fucked. I can't hit him.
I was gonna say it's very possible that you guys cannot hit him.
That was a 17 on the die. I can't hit him.
Yeah. What's your attack modifier?
+8.
So even if you rolled
With a +9 now.
so even if you rolled a 20, yeah, you can't hit him. Even if you natural
Son of a
20'd, you wouldn't get you wouldn't get the hit.
Hey, we're fucked. We're fucked, boys.
But you did survive your one hit. You did survive
There
the
you
one hit
go.
from him. And top of the order, it's his turn. As you are... Give me the flavor again of your attack.
Yeah, I full ran and like jumped off of the chin of this face because I was doing double slice. So I had
Yeah.
both hammer and axe out, and I was ready to do immediately strike through. And I think, like you said, like he like comes in out of nowhere and just like in between my attack just beats me down.
As you go down, you feel him kind of like just grab at your collar and pull you up, and he kind of shakes you to see that you're still conscious, and he smiles and he says, You're strong. I expect great things from you, boy. And he is going to... I think he's going to pick you up from that position and just slam you on the ground.
Oh, okay.
So he's got you at the collar, like at the collar of your shirt, and he's going to just kind of like hoist you into the air. And that's going to be a 39 to hit you.
Yeah, that's another crit.
That's another crit. That's 27 bludgeoning damage. Non-lethal.
I am down to 0, but of course, half orc baby.
Half orc baby.
He goes down and then just coughs up some blood and starts to lean up and puts his dukes back up. No weapons. Fuck, I don't need them. They're not gonna be useful.
There's a massive. I would say at that in particular, there is a smile on his face, and this is the first time his face even kind of like breaks into a grin, and he just kind of nods, and he's gonna take a second attack at you.
No,
I'm pretty sure he's gonna hit you, man.
I don't think he can.
I don't think he can miss. Like, yeah. Okay. So this is again non-lethal, but we're gonna go for flavor here. As your dukes are up, he's going to step forward and he's going to like cock the knee up and like Muay Thai front teeth kick you across into the Greystone tablet archway.
Mm-hmm.
And Domingo, you see as Caldor is thrown across, kind of picked up by the storm winds, and just boom, thrown against that pillar. And he falls down unconscious next to you.
Yeah, and with that, the sound of my aura disappears. It was originally described as a humming, but I think it became something a little more, up, ready for action. But it's gone now.
Last action, he's going to cross the distance and get right into your face, Domingo.
Okay.
And as he does so, I mean, he's like slowly, like now, badass walking across the field towards you. And it's just, Aboku is coming up to his feet, but you can see there's kind of like a dumbfounded look on his face. As Caldor is easily dispatched, Miguel is nowhere to be seen. So it almost feels like it's just you and this guy. Even the mist is roiling around as well. As he's crossing the field towards you, he gets closer and closer. And as he gets closer, you see the expression on his face was one that was rather grim and dark. As he went from kind of like that pleased expression to Caldor to kind of like a grim look to you. But as he gets closer, you see the expression begin to change. And his head kind of cocks in a little bit. And he says, "What was your name?"
Domingo de Posto. And I hold myself up.
It's your turn.
And I'm going to use Warp Step to... So, how much higher is the pillar behind me?
Which one? Like the archway or the
archway
rock?
or the rock?
I'd say the archway is about 15 feet above you. Okay. The rock is about 20, but if you kind of go by this like little sloped area, it'd be about 10, 15.
Okay.
Kind of like
so
droops.
Like similar to the arch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to... Warp Step kind of essentially allows you to just go place, like taking 2 stride actions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that just to dip. So just a step away to kind of try and get up here. So I imagine it's like one action going up and then another action going like horizontal.
When you...
And it's 2 strides.
When you go to cast your spell... Casting a spell is a manipulate action that is going to invoke an attack.
Of course.
A reactive strike.
All right.
That's a natural 20.
I don't think I'm gonna have to roll anything.
That is
at this point.
max damage too. Max, I'm sorry, dude. I just
Yeah, Domingo.
rolled the 2 top numbers on my dice back to back. I'm sorry, Max. Domingo, as you go to cast your spell,
Yeah.
as you go to cast your warp step to escape, your hand reaches out as part of the somatic component,
Yeah.
and like lightning, I think there's even like a crack of lightning and a flash. Boom! He's just grabbing your wrist, and he pulls you close, and he holds your jaw. You feel his hands rough grab your chin and point you up to him as he looks into your eyes, and he says, "Not just a Posto." And he, from the wrist, he's going to swing and like throw you to the ground with like almost like a Aikido judo throw. Which he did for max damage. Sorry, that was 33 damage to you.
Yeah, I'm knocked out.
Really? Yeah, I guess level 2. Sorry. I know I shouldn't have said
33
really.
damage.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said.
What do you think? I'm made of paper tissue.
He grabs your wrist,
He literally just knocked my ass out.
swings you through the air, and smashes you against the ground. The 2 of you go unconscious on the Storm Spire, defeated by Kabak Stormborn.
As
Yeah.
I'm going through the air, I'm like very confused. I feel like it goes into slow motion as I'm trying to like, Miguel's fucked. If he can find him.
Yeah, that's valid.
Just stay conscious long enough to watch your brother get his ass beat.
Give me a free sense motive here, though. As you're also falling, as time kind of slows, there's like a streak of lightning through the air, and Domingo, there's just that liminal space as you're twisting through the air.
24.
That's a really good roll. I think you were kind of locked in, and I think Kabak's expression, and as he looked at you, with the 24, the motive that you get, he seemed to recognize you before he threw you to the ground.
Yeah.
And knocked the wind out of you.
Was it a non-lethal attack?
No, actually, so your character's probably dead, I imagine, right? Is that massive damage?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question.
I'm joking. No, it's a non-lethal attack.
Domingo to Posto.
And that's how Domingo ends. He's seen, and he's not anymore.
Well, that was a failed diplomacy.
Well, you think so, but upon waking, again, we're going to kind of have to get moving here.
Right.
Upon waking, you find out that it was not, in fact, a failed diplomacy.
Ooh.
Despite having knocked the 2 of you out, Aboku reveals that it seems that you somehow managed to gain Kabak's respect. And Miguel makes a deal with him. Now, the details of this deal were explained to you at one point, but you guys were still recovering in a tent in the village hold. After the combat, it seems you were moved to the village, and your wounds were tended to. Then you're able to be you're able to coalesce there after the whooping. But in the wake of it, Aboku reveals the 2 of you managed to earn Kabak's respect. And with that, he was actually willing to treat with Miguel. He heard him out. It seems after Domingo was plastered across the floor, Kabak stood up and called for Miguel and said that he would hear him out.
I take the shot and Miguel gets the glory. Sounds about right.
That's the story of your life. You're sensing a pattern, a theme. So we'll time skip here a little bit. Kabok, and unfortunately, even with the time skip here, I think Kabok does reach out to you, Domingo. There's some stuff that's going to transpire there that I kind of want to touch base with you on, so I'll message you some stuff.
Okay.
But with this time skip, we will go to Kabok accepts Caleb's deal. Kabok, but as the various holds, you guys learn that there are four holds. The Black Sky hold that Kabok is a part of, the Horned Crown Horned Crown Hold, which is it seems to be a group of religious zealots that very much adhere to like some dark orcish god. There's the Bone Trees hold and the Red Sands hold, and all of them along under Kabok's leadership move into Redhestle. And it's not just orcs. There are a number of people. There's a couple more Kolo, a few gnolls, some lizard folk, some humans, some gnomes, halflings, tengus. I mean, it was a fairly diverse community. You know, this place was mostly used as a prison for the Republic. So a lot of different people have ended up there and have kind of assimilated into the sort of strange society that emerged in that hard region. But within weeks, they begin to populate the city of Redhestle. In the aftermath of this, I just want to check in with you guys before we get too much further. How do your characters handle this? Like, what do they see? Caldor, do you feel like you accomplished this? Was this what you were going for? Because Aboku's fairly pleased, but you were defeated in combat. So I'm wondering, how does Caldor feel?
I think, as far as his defeat goes, he looks to Kalbach, not as an enemy or anything like that, but he feels kind of a need to defeat him eventually. Even if it's a friendly bout, doesn't matter. Like, he is disappointed in his performance, but now that he's in his hometown with his people, he feels better than he ever has. As far as he is concerned, he has taken a step towards his actual dream so massive that he thought this wouldn't happen for decades. So, disappointed, but relieved.
And it's certainly not yeah.
Oh, no, continue.
No.
You go for it.
No, go.
No, I was just going to say how Domingo was feeling.
Yeah, no, please.
Because
how does Domingo
he
feel?
Almost feels like he's lost a few steps over these events, because he has not gotten any of the credit for what he's been doing. So he feels like he's lost a few steps to his younger brother, Miguel. Partly he is happy that they were able to complete the mission for the Posto family. And, he's happy for that, but, disappointed that he hasn't gotten any of the recognition. So, I think he's grappling with that and a little bit of unease about, the situation in the city, because, there's been attempted kidnappings and stuff like that has happened to him, right? So yeah. He's like, was it the right choice? I guess he's starting to question a couple of things. Because partly it could be for the good, but also was it just a very political move that could have some ramifications down the line that we're not seeing? And how is it going to disturb the balance of power in the city? So I think that's kind of the things that he's mulling over now, aside from his broken jaw.
Roll a society for me.
I'm gonna use a hero point.
Please do.
Oh, that was much better. It's a 19.
19's pretty good. Your instincts are right. I'm also offering you a bonus here because that's good roleplay instincts. Things in the city do get quite tense over this decision and reassimilation of the holds of Tempest Isle into the city. It is not a popular move amongst the populace. People agree that it is a politically motivated decision, and it wasn't actually meant to benefit Redhestle or the people of Tempest Isle, but it was solely meant to benefit Caleb, to bring in support, or to buy support. And this really kind of tends to drive people towards someone like Bon, who Bon, you learn, is an elf, and Bon was actually part of the campaign hundreds of years ago to imprison the orcs, the holes. So Bon is has kind of a history that really ups his credit against Caleb in this whole decision regarding the Tempest Isle holes. So Bon's influence is growing. And Bon, again, is that mercenary leader.
How old is he?
Bon?
Yeah. You said, I think I misheard something because of my headphones. But did you say he was like there early on when they got...
When they were in prison? He's an elf. He is...
Elves.
Yeah, he's hundreds of years old. The exact date of birth, or the exact age, I would put behind a roll for you, but he's old. Even by elf, but I think your instincts are right here, because even by elf standards, and how he looks, like, because Caldor, you would have seen him around town. He doesn't look like an elf of that age, that could be that age. Like that's, and I think people talk about it, but they also just assume like, oh well, he's very healthy. But I like your instincts, Caldor. Something's up. So I'll give you that for just good player investigation.
I don't trust things that don't die. All right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And you certainly get the feeling that this man is old for his reputation. But yeah. So again, both your instincts are right. Political strife at home and a suspicious opposition. And I think this is kind of the state. Oh, also too, Caleb's list of allies. Caleb also takes up another ally throughout all of this as well, to kind of, he seems to garner the support of an individual named Lelantos. Now, Lelantos, his big thing is resources. He seems to have a means of production of food and water and medicine, things that are desperately needed, right? Especially for those who are not magically inclined, right? So Lelantos and Caleb grow close in the aftermath as well. And with Caleb picking up a new ally in Lelantos, facing against the division with Bon, and the two of you kind of sensing that things are tense in the city, everything kind of comes to a head when there is finally the last wave. It's a couple months after the orcs have arrived. I would say not even a couple months, like a month and change after the orcs have moved into the city. One day, one faithful day, the monarch, the Red Moon, gets disturbingly close and full in the sky, and the seas rise. And the seas roll over your city, your home, as they are siphoned from the world. Your two characters are in Redhestle during this time. So I'm wondering, How do you feel your characters survived? What'd they do? Or if they didn't, that is a major twist for all of us, but I leave that to you.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked because next week is session 1, so
So don't be smart about it.
I think Caldor, again, he tries to save people, especially people he knows that he can't do anything about this. He collects a small group of them, nothing crazy, 5, maybe a dozen people, and he uses what little magic he has in his cards and this artifact that he has, and uses sort of like the same ability to create a glass shield, but he uses 5, 10 of them, whatever, as many as he can, to create like a dome to protect them as the water floods through them.
Yeah.
To keep them safe in this little dome.
Yeah. Yeah, you get as many people as you can, and you kind of bunker down. As this is happening, the earth beneath you begins to kind of shift and crash, and as some parts of the ground sink, some parts are risen up, and you kind of fortunately are on a part that rises up and catches a little bit of the top of the wave. That's you're not like totally submerged, but there are moments where it gets very tense, and you have to reapply your shield over and over. Unfortunately, Caldor, despite your best efforts, you started off with a number of people around you, but as your shield gets hit and broken and has to be reapplied, maybe you lost one, right? Alongside, but Elias is with you throughout it. Elias makes it through the last wave. So does your dad, Aboku. Aboku.
I think Domingo is really just focused on making sure his family makes it through.
Sure.
So, I mean, granted, he could care less if Maria doesn't make it.
Fair enough. Domingo, you are, you're pretty well to do. You're of the nobility, right? Your home is actually up on the slopes of the mountain, right? So actually remains fairly untouched. Don't get me wrong. Shit goes sideways, and you definitely suffered, like the building suffers some damage, right? Everything suffers some damage, right? But you fare a lot better than the city itself, especially as you are on the balcony, I think, with your family. As the wave rolls over the city, you see the water just kind of crashing through the streets. You see the river that kind of wound through the Harrows just now is flooded over. It disappears entirely as it's submerged. Entire buildings are submerged. And then you also see as an impossibly large geyser kind of erupts. And as the last wave rakes its way across your home, what's left is the city beneath kind of caving in, carving out from within. The exterior walls of the city that you can kind of see in the distance, it almost creates like the edge of a landslide as the city crunches down into itself and kind of slopes downwards now into what was once the ocean floor, but there is no ocean now. And your city is sunken into tears. They kind of descend downwards, the exterior wall just along the cliff rim, and your home high above it. You see sinkholes and cracks. It's a tragedy. It is a massive tragedy. In the wake of this tragedy, and the two of you having survived now, things continue to grow more tense. Bon actually disappears. He is not seen or heard from for a while. Or in a while. So there's some pressure relieved on Caleb there, but the population of the city is dwindled drastically, right? There are not very many people left. Lilantos and Caleb have continued to grow close. you understand that Lelantos, being the main supplier of resources, has quite a lot of clout, and even despite everything that went down, he still seems to be fairly reliable in his ability to provide. And Caleb relies on it. But you find out one day you are approached by Arno Greydane, Caleb's commander in arms, right? The general of the military, basically. And Arno explains to you that he has been tasked by Caleb directly to investigate another group that have also been providing resources to people, not nearly on the scale of Lelantos and Caleb, but something of competition. Specifically, their names, all he has are names: Amanita and Isfit. And these people have been similar to Lelantos, providing resources to folks in the city. And Caleb questions the efficacy and questions what they're providing. So he wanted Arno to do an investigation and get into it and get to the bottom of what's going on there. Arno reveals to you that he actually thinks that something's up here, and he asks the two of you to help him out and kind of keep things quiet. All right?
Sound like shady characters.
Shady characters. Yeah, they definitely sound pretty shady. And as you guys investigate them, let's have, because this will be kind of the last thing we do before we close out.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So let's do a couple of investigation rolls. I think as part of the investigation, let's get a society check. One of you can lead that, the other one can aid somehow. Or if you want to kind of offer like a little bit of flavor to how you ask around town and gather information societally, throw it out there.
Yeah, could I use my hobnobbler to like just enhance it, because I'm just through general conversation, just making someone comfortable, just kind of being to talk around, ask questions, just to learn more about this Amanita and Isfet.
Sure.
And I can roll the society.
Sure. Go ahead, roll society. There will be other checks, or if you have something else that you want to contribute to the discovery to gain information, I might give you different types of information depending on your approach.
Yeah, that's a 23.
23 is excellent.
Just kind of discussing.
Okay, 23 I'm going to call a critical success. Here's some things you get. You're going to get two things with your 23. You're going to learn that Amanita and Isfit are fairly small operation, but there are a contingency of like orcish loyalists that seem to be have forgone Kabok's ranks and joined behind Isfit. They seem to think of Isfit as some kind of leader. And you hear that, yes, they do supply stuff, but on a fairly small scale. With your critical success, though, you learn that people that buy from them tend to recommend it, and people that rely on them tend to recommend it. And the claim is that they just feel better than the stuff that they are getting from Caleb. The stuff that they're getting from Caleb, they just feel they don't feel quite themselves. Another thing with your 23 in society, I'll give you a third bonus thing. You know that there is a substance that has kind of been plaguing the city of Redhestle even before the last wave, called Vitae. It's a narcotic. And with your 23 in society, you're able to trace back that, again, that chef, the drug lord, right? You hear rumors that was obviously his street name, right? But his actual name is Lelantos. So your society reveals Lelantos was once a drug dealer, and that people who get his shit feel crappy. But they don't have that feeling when they get stuff from Amanita and Isfit. So it's a TLDR. Okay. Caldor, how do you contribute to this investigation? What are you up to?
I think I would have to get a little help from Domingo, or actually you maybe do this to help him. Maybe like we're investigating, like you said, you was learning about this uh the chef, this shady figure. We're investigating some, darker stuff. I have an ability to just yeet someone's soul out of their body, and then they can exist as a non-corporeal being for about a minute. So I think maybe at some point we're like sneaking, we're like looking for information, and we can't get past a door, like there's guards or something, and I'm like, hey Domingo, I know we don't know each other a lot, but trust me for just 1 minute. And he just and pushes your soul out of your body, and then you can go freely and investigate someone's, like, whatever. It doesn't hurt, doesn't cause any damage. Deeply unpleasant though.
Maybe give me more of a warning on what it'll do to me next time. But I figure I can use that and like just while we're doing the investigations to get into meeting rooms, because I also have the read lips skill, so I can just read lips potentially during that time.
So you're
just to add to it.
incorporeal and you can read lips. Okay. Because this
If
is
that gets us anything
because
in
this is the
addition.
occult, yeah, and this is going to add to you, or this is not occult. I don't know what your spell mod. What's your spell school there, Caldor? Or does your ability
it's-
tell you to roll something?
No, it's a they roll something. They resist it or not. But if you choose not to resist it, it'll do the thing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
So
I guess how are we supporting it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I could use.
No, we'll have Caldor roll first because you just did your society roll. So Caldor,
Yep.
your magic is divine.
I think it's occultism. I think it's occultism actually.
Occultism?
If you click on your DC
Mhm.
in Path Builder, then it'll tell you.
Okay. My spell DC?
Yeah, if you click on it, it'll tell you if it's occult or arcana or whatnot, or primal.
Yeah, nothing's coming up.
Well, I guess all of your spells are
Yeah,
cantrips
they all have to.
thing.
Yeah, because you're champion. So I guess I don't know if you get spells or not. I would say since you said occult is what you'd rather use. What are you trained in?
I'm trained in occultism.
Okay.
And
Probably the best bet.
my at the very least, the flavor of my champion is more spiritual than a specific god. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
So
I'll
make that
roll.
roll. Make that roll.
It's under my tablet.
Make that roll.
That's a 19.
A 19, you say? 19's good. Okay. A 19's a success. So I'll give you one more piece of information then. Let's say this. The two of you, kind of following the trail, have made it to Lelantos's manor, where you are told, like, okay, he's based out of. You don't raid it or anything, but with your little, like, spiritual investigation, kind of... I was about to call you Edenor. Domingo, you're able to infiltrate incorporeally, and you find that Lelantos does have a partner. Lelantos has, and because this is not his house, as you realize as you get in here, as you're kind of like making your way spiritually through the walls. Lelantos's business partner, or the house that the manor that he's based out of, belongs to one Athena S. Alra.
Okay.
All right. So that's the additional thing you get. Yeah. So at this point, with some things now having been discovered, what have you guys put together? What do you think is? Would you go back to Arno with this information about Lelantos, or how would you continue your approach here?
Well, I think, Arno said that he was doing a job for Caleb, so I'm just gonna trust that. And after discussing,
I don't think we should trust that immediately. Perhaps we can go straight to your father for this one. It seems as though his ally is producing drug-addled supplies. Perhaps we can guide him towards making another partnership with this Amanita and I forgot the other one.
And Isfet?
Isfet, thank you.
It is possible, but it does seem like it is tainted material that's harming his position. So, but if Chef is Lelantos and he's drugging the population, do we know what the drug Vita does?
Yeah. Well, maybe. Medicine check.
Oh, okay.
Both of you can roll.
Hey, that's not terrible.
I would actually say, Caldor, I'm going to give you a
18.
slight bonus. Okay, that's a success. Caldor, what do you got?
I'm trained in medicine.
Oh,
Ooh.
shit.
Well, look at you.
Look
I'm
at
not
you,
trained in
fancy
medicine.
boy.
So that's an 11 on the die plus 4, 15. You said I have a bonus or something?
Yeah, I'm mentally tracking a little bonus for you. So I'm going to give you a bonus there. And what did you get there again, Domingo?
18.
18? Okay. Domingo, you're even with the bonus. Your roll is better. Things you know about Vitae. Vitae provides sort of a euphoric sort of high that kind of, and it renders you kind of settled as you are you get to kind of relive better memories or better days, it says. So people that take it tend to get pretty addicted to it quite fast because of its euphoric effects and the just kind of the benefits of like reliving better memories. And you can imagine that with the current situation, it's becoming quite popular.
But if people who are consuming Alonso's goods aren't feeling great, maybe it's not.
Maybe it's something different. Is there like after effects to Vita?
Yeah, there's kind of like a crash. And
Okay.
Vitae, and what you've been hearing from people is, yeah, they feel like lethargic
Sure.
and
Yeah.
So it's the crash.
apathetic and stuff.
Okay. And then I guess Domingo will go back to Caldor. Like, and I guess would Domingo be aware of an Athena S. Elra? Because if they live in the noble district,
I would
or
say, yeah,
anything like that?
as a noble, yeah, I'm gonna give you that. You're also trained in society, yeah. And Athena
Yeah.
gets around, not like gets around, but you know, the
She's
name
known.
is known.
So is Athena? I guess what is Athena associated with?
Athena is like shipping textiles industries, like has a
Okay.
few warehouses along the harbor, or had a few warehouses along the harbor. Family kind of was a merchant empire kind of thing.
Okay.
I would say that's what you know offhand. The details of like where the empire's at or how it kind of went down is behind a check.
Okay. Interesting.
But a fairly
Yeah, maybe it is
well-to-do
best
noble.
to discuss with Caleb regarding the. We're straight to the source.
And I know about her involvement in the thing, right?
Yeah, I think when when Domingo reports back, if he shares it or not, that's how you would know.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would share it because we're doing this joint investigation.
Sure. So then, yeah, you know.
So you're
Yeah.
aware. Do you have any additional information about this Athena that I may not be aware of? I understand that they're shipping mogul.
If I'm being honest, I know very little more about her than you do. But yes, I believe she is my mother.
Oh.
And I think when we get the chance, I would love to go meet her.
Guess it's nice to understand who may be your mother. Happy for you.
If she's involved with things, we'll see what happens.
Family's complicated. But speaking of family, let's talk to my dear papa.
Okay. You guys make your way over to talk to the dearest of papas. And as you make your way out to find Caleb, it's just ironically maybe this day. But as the two of you are in the Liberty Citadel, you start to hear the ringing of the bells, the Citadel's bells, that kind of echo through the halls of the building itself, or what's left of the building. The back half of the Liberty Citadel has been kind of like completely destroyed, so there's kind of like just the front half of the building, but it's still been functioning as the seat of government, or what's left of government. And as the two of you are making your way over to Caleb's and you're walking through these halls, the bells go off. And this signifies that the sovereign-elect is looking to address the people of the city. Now, this has not happened since after the first wave. Since the destruction, it has not happened since the unimaginable destruction of the last wave that sank Redhestle. It is the first time since the world stopped turning, and now, by the way, we are permanently in nighttime. That is also something to note. When the last wave struck, the world's day and night cycle ceased.
Do we still have like the moon? Is it like considered dark or dim?
It's dark. You have the red moon. There's kind of an eerie red glow to a lot of the area. And I will say that you guys all know that the orcs have adapted very well. They all have dark vision. Whereas a lot of the people, a lot of the humans don't. And a lot of others, heritages don't, or ancestries don't. But as the bells ring out and people are beginning to kind of gather in front of the Citadel, maybe it's not the question on your minds, but the question on the minds of a lot of the people that are gathering is similar. Is this the end of the Empire? Is this the end of the Republic? Is this the last words? Are we about to hear the last words of a dying Republic? At this point, many know that the sovereign-elect Caleb de Posto is involved with the management and distribution of essentials, but they also are aware that the true hand behind that is the once crime boss turned philanthropist, Lelantos. They know that Caleb's militia is dwindling and that it lacks now little respect compared to those pledged to the Patriot Blades Mercenary Guild even with their missing commander Bon. You know that despite being welcomed or brought into the city by Caleb's deal, the holds of Tempest Isle, the prisoners of Tempest Isle, still hold their allegiance to Cabok Stormborn. So, devoid of resources, devoid of military power, and devoid of societal respect, all in a matter of months, people wonder about the fate of Omeron as they gather into the plaza of the Liberty Citadel. And to find out what happens next time, you guys are going to have to tune in to session 1 of New World Rebellion next week with the full cast. We'll have our full party together, finally in person, with no playing through the screens. Well, you guys will be watching us through the screens, but we won't be through screens. We'll be actually next to each other where we can reach out and high five. All right. Yes. Guys, thank you so much for playing. Sorry we went a little bit over time here. Let's do a quick round of goodbyes. If you want to just tell folks who you are, who you played, where they can find you. Let's start with Caldor.
Hi. I played Caldor D. Stratus, and my name is Raul Alejandro Gonzalez Rodriguez. You can find me anywhere on the internet as D. Stratus. Man, D. Stratus is a cursed bloodline. Every woman is a complicated mess. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
And And along with finding the next full session of this next week, you can also catch a quick little Terra Mahia Halloween special, the Terraween, where things get a little kooky and silly because it's a one shot. So we're gonna just fuck around and have a good time.
That'll be fun. Perfect. And then Max, I'm playing Domingo de Posto. Again, you'll see me next week. I'll also be a part of the Terra Mahia game. So that'll be an exciting bit of fun. And then, yeah, aside from that, you'll see me playing good old Edenor in our regular sessions. Anyways, thank you very much. And until next time.
Yeah. Guys, my name is David. I've been your GM this morning. I'm so used to saying evening. I've been your GM this morning. My pronouns are he, him, and you can catch me here as the game master of all of the Heroes of Histaeria games. That includes New World Rebellion. That includes Sandsea Saga, which you should check out if you want to see more of these guys. And that also includes Unearthed Inheritance. So be sure to check out all of those games. They're all co-concurrent campaigns happening in the same homebrew world of Histaeria. And when you don't see me here, you can also catch me over at Tales Archived, where I play Whistle, the Hobgoblin Fighter, in the Known Realms Telesh campaign. Every Sunday. That's every Sunday, including tomorrow. Or including today. God damn, I'm so used to being catch me later there this evening. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for watching. We hope to see you next week for not only session 1 of New World Rebellion, but also for Terraween. Come hang out. Enjoy seeing us play this game that has been developed and crafted by our own Lycosty Stratus. So, guys, thanks again for watching. Thank you again to Shannon and Artificer's work for our wonderful overlay, and thank you to Tabletop Audio for our intro-outro music, Gaping Maw. And have a good weekend, guys. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.